Yeah. All right. Good evening, guys. Welcome to our 15th episode of Friday Night Dice. We're running a little behind tonight, so I went ahead and skipped the intro map scroll because we just want to. I want to get moving. Running almost 10. So I do apologize for those of you that have been waiting in chat, but we're here now. We're ready to play. Hopefully. Uh, Real quick, we'll go through a couple announcements real quick. Again, always thank you to Archvillain Games for supporting the stream and then supplying the minis that we used. You guys will see a couple of them tonight. You saw a couple of them last week. The dragon that made its grand appearance was an Archvillain mini. I've got a couple others. If you guys ever join our Discord, you'll see a few of them there. I'll be posting my. I finish it tomorrow. I'll be posting my entry for this month's painting contest for Archvillain. Pretty proud of it. We'll see how it turns out. Don't think I'll win anything, but can't win if I don't try. Anyways, guys, we're going to jump into tonight's session. Alright, and we're back. Oh, how's everyone doing this week?
Living the dream.
To the moon.
Everybody's making their millions on GameStop, right?
Ooh, right.
I believe in that company.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in that company too. I also heard, before we get into our session, a weird rumor that GameStop's swapping over to try and be more a tabletop center. That'd be cool.
I know
They might actually sell
I know they
something.
mentioned that they were gonna start
I don't believe
PC
in GameStop.
PC kiosks that were basically the equivalent to Build-A-Bear but for PCs,
Oh no
which
shit.
I think is a fucking genius idea.
Yeah, no, that'd be.
Yeah, go in there and you buy a $1,700 PC that's really worth like $1,200. They just made a cool $500 on you.
Right? But you don't have to do any of the process of putting it together.
So wait, would it be a pre-made PC store, or would it be like you go into a store and they pick out the parts and build it for you?
No,
'Cause that
I
seems
mean,
like
I'd
a
have
really
to go
long
look at
process.
I'd have to go look at what they initially put out, but it was essentially like you would select like what games you want to be able to play, and they would be like, "Here's
Oh.
your recommended build," and then it's like Build-A-Bear and like and a GameStop employee will put it together for you.
Well, the important
that.
part is, will it be made with love, and can I put the heart?
Can I
No,
sleep
but it'll
with
be
it at
made
night?
by a company I believe in.
Can I sleep with it at night?
I
mean,
believe in this stuff.
Right.
Josh, you can sleep with whatever you want.
Sleeping
Alright.
with my desktop computer.
Alright, guys, let's go ahead and get into our session recap. I got a lengthy one for you because, man, did some shit happen last.
Good, I forget most of it. It's been a wild couple weeks.
So, guys,
Oh my gosh.
last we gathered, we watched as the Spread Eagles, after being petitioned by Queen Zarina Alden to join the Zartalos ranking, began working as paid mercenaries for the Empire. Queen generously offered for the party to stay as her guests for the rest of the week. The crown would cover all their expenses while they stayed at the Golden Heart. The party struggled with this decision. They decided to sit on it for a few days before sending their answer. While on their way to check out some irregularities from what they knew and what Lord Nathaniel's story told them, they decided to go investigate the mine in which they had cleared not a few days prior. While making their way to these mines on the north end of town, they caught sight of a familiar mist and a familiar shadow darting throughout the mist. Venturing into the mists and this low-rolling fog, they found what appeared to be the remains of a small village or some sort of temple, where they were confronted by an old friend. Spread Eagles, or were they confronted by the Spread Eagles, left things with few words and proceeded right to attacking as they saw the familiar face of Pemberley standing atop the ruins. The party did quickly overpower her as the fight went on, but Pemberley began to show traits of her other sisters during the fight. And right as she was escaping, as she was torn to shreds by Spud's mighty spiraling teeth, Cress, you caught a sight of a smirk on her face as she whispered, "We'll be coming for you." Not long after, the party retreated to a forest as they had heard the wing beat and loud roar of some mighty beast coming from a distance. And as they looked, they could see the shadow darting over the clouds. And as a large dragon made of twisting shadows and rotting bone came descending between the clouds, it landed breathing these black flames all over the runes in the statue, almost dissolving away the vegetation and the ground, and then the armor even that this put upon the statue. It revealed two stone wings around this massive statue, with a symbol of a seven-pointed star upon this feminine statue's chest. As this was happening, Cress got almost a sense coming from her book, as it was calling out to her. As she opened it, she was shown visions, what the village used to look like, and who this statue, or if this statue was once another person. After the dragon quickly departed, Cress and a few of the other party members rushed over to the statue, believing it to have some sort of relation either to her deity or her bloodline. Unclear which. The symbol carved into her chest gave off a bright white light that it seemed only Cress could see. After a few different things, eventually the symbol receded into the chest of the statue, revealing a small metallic cube with different runes and symbols all over it, likes of none of you had ever seen before. While the majority of you spent time looking over this cube very quickly, Halan remembered that he needed to make his way off to the mine. As they ventured down into the mine, Halan, you confronted the head foreman, explaining to him that things were not as they seemed. You didn't believe it to be safe. So, you guys argued for a little bit with this greedy foreman. Before enough, he gave in and began drilling. Not before inspecting what you guys thought to be behind what is now a massive stone wall where you had saw the portal not days before. While Halan was spent time arguing with the foreman and negotiating what needed to be done and commanding the rest of his troops of the New Beginnings Corporation to take care of this problem, the rest of you sat in a circle where Kelric, Nil, Tofin, Theros, Cress, and Avara, you guys played around with the cube and found it to have mystical properties. Yes, I know you didn't touch it. And it almost seemed as if it could warp time of a sort. It's baffled most of you, and not long after, you guys made your way back to town where you guys retired at the Golden Harp, where you guys shared a few more personal moments. Cress, you led on to your fear of hatred, of chronomancy. Elric, you gave off some ominous things about your background and your encounters with the Aasimar race, and alluded to a grander picture, while also learning that some of the knowledge that you may seek from Nil could be discovered here within Walden Port at a place known as the Order of the Bronze Salamander. The party then also revisited the idea of, should you guys join the Queen? Should you take her up on her offer? You guys have yet to make a decision, but you know that you wish to, whatever you do wish to give her, you don't wish to share all the information. And towards the end of the session, Tofin and Avaria, you guys were visited by messengers, or perhaps even your deity themselves, giving you cryptic and ominous messages. To not trust everything that you hear, or that everything that you see when it comes to the all awaken within your respective rooms of the Golden Harps.
Excuse me? Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am. I need you to stop.
So, Tofin and Avaria, you guys awaken from your very cryptic and very ominous messages that you both have received. Open, you only being asleep for a short while after attempting to stay up for most of the night and fighting off sleep, but eventually it succumbed. You find yourself awoken in your bedroom, almost in hot sweat, just a little shaken from what you've just heard.
You're doing all right, Tophin.
All right.
Look a little off.
I guess that's one way to put it. Yeah.
Something up?
I mean, you know me. I can never seem to sleep very well.
Don't think it's a matter of you not sleeping. It's a matter of you attempting to not sleep.
I mean, it might be a little bit of both.
Mm,
Oh, I guess you put.
about every time you're about to daze off, I hear you kind of sit more up and sigh more. It's not hard to miss. Why is that?
Fair enough. Well, to be honest, it's just kind of how I've always been. I grew up in a city of elves, mostly, and most of them will only take a few hours rest every night. So a lot of the time, those few hours everyone else was resting were the few times I would get freedom to do whatever I wanted.
Yeah, well, elves are blessed in a lot more than just not having to sleep for as long. God knows I could use the time. But you are a half-blood. So, need to take care of the human part as well.
Fair enough. Well,
I can give you some
I'm
tips on
learning
that if you want.
from everyone here.
Yeah, there are certain tricks
I
of the
didn't
trade.
realize you were awake, Colin. Well, I appreciate everything that you all do. Can't promise anything, but I'll work on it.
Probably some tea we can pick up in town that might help.
Sure.
Anyway, the others are waiting
Or
for
Cress could just hit
breakfast.
him really hard in the back of the head.
Yeah, she could. She'd be the most qualified amongst us. Zeros as well. Avaria, a close.
Yeah, that's true.
Very, very close third. But she'd be the one to bring him back.
Cress, now that you are back, I will remind you that at the end of last session, you specifically told me you will take the cube with you to your own private room, play with it in the morning.
Oh, okay, I don't remember that. No, that's my bad.
That's okay. I just wanted to remind you in case there was something.
I don't know if I planned anything for it. Yeah, Cress, during that time, I just gonna fiddle with it, see if she gets any reactions out of it.
Okay. Roll and
Oh, I don't have my stats pulled up. I'm sorry, I had class until 6 or 5.
I worked
is dead.
until 6.
Hey, you're not the only one.
Same.
Ah.
But my work is much different.
Is investigation intelligence?
Ed?
Yes.
Yes.
I believe.
6.
So you start fiddling with the cube and start making different. Doesn't seem like you're getting any sort of reaction out of it right away.
Okay, then is this happening at night?
This is first thing in the morning whenever you wake up because else.
Well, disappointed that I get nothing out of it, I go to train.
Are you making your way to your usual spot on the Trident's Fury?
Yeah.
It is quiet, almost a little cooler morning, and starting to get a little deep. And you can see a few storm clouds rolling in. Doesn't seem as if bring about, but easy enough. You find your way to the Trident's Fury, where you find the people that are left on guard now that most of the mining crew has gone off to work. It is but a skeleton crew that it appears that is still upon the ship, kind of keeping their eyes and making sure that no one's. You spend the morning working for a while. You do. The rest of the party is. Assume you guys are going down for breakfast with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll sleep in a little bit.
So, as you guys make your way down, you find the familiar sight of the bartender that you guys have seen so many times before, polishing the tankards behind, nods to all of you. You guys see Joanna Crosley with her husband and daughter sitting at the table off in the corner next to the stage, where they normally sit, having a quiet breakfast. It doesn't seem as if there's very many patrons here this morning. You get the sense that most of them were off doing their daily duty. People have been kind of staying away from the taverns since Jane came in for her kind of grand entrance.
So, Cressida, how are you taking losing the suite?
It's rough. I paid for it, and they didn't even reimburse me. But I guess they're paying for all of our food and everything, so I can't really be that mad. But, like, I'm still mad, but you can't really be mad at the queen. You can.
I disagree.
But you have to be quietly
you
mad
can
at the
be
queen.
mad at the queen.
You can't
You
be mad
could
at the
also
queen.
be loudly.
You don't have to be quietly mad at the queen. Not if you're not.
Well, I would caution against being loudly mad at the queen to not draw attention, but look what's happened, so... Yeah, I suppose you can just be loudly mad at the queen. At least in our position. I wouldn't recommend it for the common person.
I wouldn't particularly recommend it in general, but
Well, yeah, I mean...
I'm sure most things we do wouldn't be recommended, so...
No, that's
Yeah, you guys are, no offense, on some kind of crazy shit.
Yeah, well, not by choice. But you're stuck with us now. So...
I noticed.
Am I with everybody right now?
I
never
assume
said I
you
was
were
complaining.
sleeping in the same room as them, Josh? Or Zeros?
Yeah, Zeros, eat up. Enjoy your casserole.
Yes.
I don't know, I'm making it up. It's all made up.
I actually hate casserole.
Oh,
But Zeros loves cat.
we can
Yeah,
get
Zero-
something else.
Zero-
for
Zero
you.
say
Zeros
casserole
loves
or do
casserole.
you?
Oh, okay.
Zero.
I don't know who the hell. I don't
I
know who else you
typically
were
hate
talking
casseroles.
Something
Casseroles
wrong with
typically
you.
have cheese.
I guess it
Hmm.
depends on the casserole, but I've never thought about it.
They typically have cheese.
Tuna noodle
Unless it's a-
casserole don't.
That's gross.
Unless it's like a French toast casserole.
I get too far off topic here.
What are you talking about? We're talking about the casserole in your world.
Hey, Tophin.
Yes.
Tophin, didn't the queen say that all of our expenses are cut by the crown? A couple.
Yes, I believe she did. I am not the one with the keenest mind here, though, so...
Is there a time limit on that? I don't
I'm just saying. If we have nearly unlimited money, theoretically, we could buy out the entire bar if we wanted to.
Or we just buy the bar.
Well, the tricky bit to that, Howland, is that the
Let's
queen
just buy the bar.
She precisely said, and I recite what she precisely said.
Said, to enjoy your stay within the Golden Harp for the rest of the week while mulling over your guys' decision, and that all of your expenses well in the Golden Harp, your food, your drink, and your amenities will be covered by the crown.
I hate this stupid feat. It's so dumb.
God damn it. I grabbed the wrong book.
If we could,
Trying to find the calendars. I need to mark off the day from last
How far are we into this week?
week. You guys are roughly at 3 days. Give me a second to find the calendar and I will tell you.
Yeah,
Give it
it's
3 days.
it's exactly this day.
if we could buy the Golden Harp, I would like to buy it away from,
Theoretically,
and then sell it back to.
expenses are covered.
You and Joanna could run it together. I think that'd be lovely.
We've gone from
How do we run it
getting-
together? I can't read.
But you just don't need to read to run a bar.
Maybe.
You want the brown drink or you want the not brown drink? Seems pretty straightforward.
You pay based on donation.
That's not really a surviving business model, typically anyway.
If you adventure, you make a lot of gold. It is.
Yeah, that's bad business.
Yeah, well, if you're busy running a bar, you're not exactly adventuring, are you?
I know he's not getting an offer.
And besides, I don't think the crown would consider that one of our expenses during our stay, because then we would be the owners. That wouldn't even happen.
It is actually the first day of Meltmas.
Yeah, it's the first day of Meltmas. Yeah, it's the turn of the month.
Is it Meltmas?
It sure is.
Mm-hmm.
M-E-L-T-M-I-S.
Like Christmas except melting?
Bavaria, you would know that the holy day of your god.
Represent.
Yeah, so this is all fun talking about buying a bar potentially, but why don't we focus on something we can actually do? Maybe we,
Oh, right. We can't just sit here and side quest. Yeah, what's the plan?
well, I don't know. Are we still, planning to renegotiate the position, with the queen? Or do we want to check out this,
We
next
are.
step first?
I
I
think-
believe it was something to do with that, the place with the fog world, and I know you haven't seen it, Halan, but there was a gazebo. It was, grandiose.
Well,
Grandiose gazebo.
We've taken to calling
Gazebos-
it gazebo.
quite a ways, isn't it?
Hmm.
It'd be quite a travel. I think it was a couple days travel just to get to Baldwin Port, and we had actually gone. I don't have a fucking map. Hang on.
If you guys are talking about to the gazebo, you're looking at well over a week's travel.
Called it a gazebo, I see.
One of us.
What about with the court?
That gazebo's gonna kill all of us.
That's the
With,
big
with
bad.
the cart, you're looking at probably a week's worth of travel.
Which should
What about a supercar?
probably speak to the queen.
Yeah, but say if we're looking at a
Or
week's worth of travel,
if
we
you're-
probably need to talk.
We were given a week by the queen. so
Yeah, if our
probably
destination is that far out, we should talk to her.
talk to her before
Or
leaving.
we just don't.
That also
I will
works.
remind you guys that while it might not have been directly communicated, the queen did not give you an indication that you had to come and tell her you had to on your end. But you send word, travel there, or whatever you guys. The best course of action.
Where's the queen at right now?
She's back within the capital.
And how far away is that?
Your capital from where you are is, yeah, probably longer travel than the gazebo.
Oh, so we're already late. Okay.
Oh,
Well,
shit, I
you have to
didn't know that,
remember that it's going to take her at least 10 days to make it back to the capital. So you got to figure she's thinking the same a
Okay.
week from whenever she returned.
Well, schlecht. I
Realistically,
was-
she gave you basically 2.
I was hoping to renegotiate and get a little spell that I could use to contact anyone, but especially her out of it. But now it seems we'd either have to front that money or see if see if they're willing to cover it as an expense. I think it would be kind of hard to argue that. I'm obviously too light to afford it myself.
I thought we bought that at the shop here, Kelric.
We bought a scroll of sending
Did
that
we?
I can translate? Because I don't remember doing that. Yeah, I wish.
Do you
Trust
remember
me.
how much it was?
Yeah, it was exactly... Fucking keen mind.
The scroll of sending was 460 gold.
Yeah, it's not
Yikes.
cheap.
Oh!
You know,
Yeah.
I was thinking about buying it, and I was like,
Realize it was
nope.
that much.
I don't have
which
quite
is
that
why I
much.
was-
The scroll you
hoping to
guys
make
bought
it-
was the fireball spell.
Yep, which I have done.
How much was that?
Phew.
God. Where did we get all this
Where'd you guys get so much gold?
Open
Yeah, I'm
slept
sorry,
with a
guys,
traveling
my,
version, then
The
stole
New
from
Beginnings
mayor.
Corporation?
My capabilities are self-learned, not granted by, apparently we have 3 gods in the group, so... It's not as easy for me.
Well, I appreciate the compliment, Kelric, but I don't think any of us are gods.
Well,
Some would consider
Probably.
that sacrilegious, I believe.
by proxy.
I personally don't care.
I mean, I'm sure they have eyes on many things, but do you 3 really think that you haven't already done enough in the world where you might be above the upper echelons of their attention?
Gods?
Yeah.
I have it?
Yes.
How do I have it?
Oh, I talk to you all the time.
Cough, cough.
You're-
The DM's
you're a
going to
cleric.
remind party's cleric that the cleric can prepare her own spells because she's new to cleric at the beginning of every day, and that said cleric has said sending spell.
Also, do I get a long
Wait.
rest?
Is it like
Level 7,
Groundhog
right?
Day? She's just new to cleric every day? That seems horrible.
Rude.
It's 51st
I don't like
clerics.
playing a cleric.
51st clerics.
You're a level 10
Hey,
cleric.
Yes.
Thankfully, somebody got that
Okay.
reference.
Oh, the 51st date.
Yeah.
There we go,
Okay,
Josh.
I wasn't
so
paying-
she-
I wasn't
she
paying
has to relearn
attention.
she's a cleric.
I would have got it, I just wasn't paying attention.
No, don't worry, Josh. That's a 30-second Twitch delay. You're fine.
So,
Okay,
Oh.
well,
because of you, your spells are prepared. Clerics get to decide what spells to take at the start of every day.
Well, I'm
Because
sleeping
you're-
in, so I get that right now.
And the spell that they are talking about, which costs nearly 500 gold, sending, have access.
Can she sell it?
Can't sell it.
I did have, since it seems that we can't buy the spell, I did have one thing that I wanted to do, and it involved the place you were talking about. I'm looking to get a leg up in some spellcraft. It's one other thing that I'm working on that should be a useful tool for all of us, I hope. But it's something I'm working on. It's a new thing. It's proving quite challenging. I've got the finer and more minute brushstrokes, but the large ones need to be panned out by someone trained in spellcraft. And I'm referring to that
I mean,
institution, the school. I don't have any notes on it because obviously I was not near my
So
notebook.
it was not a institution or a school. When you had questioned Nil, Nil reminding you,
Yeah.
Nil told you that there's not a school, a library of sorts within town, but there is a organization known as Order of the Bronze Salamander. Collects
that's right.
knowledge of sorts and might be a good place to for information.
there's also the magic shop lady who I
Yeah,
kind of intimidated.
she kind of deals
On
in
accident.
wares. I'm not certain if she would know much about spellcraft, but I could give it a whirl. Since I'm not buying anything from her, it would just take more time I'm not trying to rob the whole day from us.
Whatever we need to do.
I'm down to do what everybody else wants to do.
Well, if you guys would grant me some time, it'll give me a step up in not only helping myself, but you all as well.
Well, I don't think we're particularly in a rush, so
I don't
Go
know,
for
did
it.
you see that fucking dragon? Because, I'm kind of in a rush.
That's fair. That's a very good reason to be in a rush.
go do what you have to do. We've got to get ready to leave anyways.
Okay. Because I have fucking no notes, DM, and I'm now reunited with my notebook, do I have any means or knowledge from Nil about where to find the bronze salamanders
No,
and get this
could
train rolling?
fairly easy. So you,
Okay. I will.
he could
Go there.
broker some of his leverage of how he knows getting you act.
Okay. Anybody who's welcome to come, by the way, unless they restrict you, are welcome to come with me.
I am not going to go with Kelric and Nil. I am. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Can't tell who's talking first with the Discord lag. But while Kelric goes off and does that, I am going to go and tune up Spud on the Triton's Fury since we're going to be gone for a little while. I'm gonna make sure everything's just right.
Got it. So is it just Nil and Kelric then making their way?
I'm drinking. Walking fast.
Alright. So, Kelric, as you and Nil make your way out of the Golden Harp and start making on through, do notice the town's a little more quiet than. Notice there is a larger presence of guards. See, most people are keeping to their homes. They're just kind of a little more quiet. As you guys make your way down, up through the northeastern end of town, you pass by Fizlin's Wondrous Wares, of a familiar sight to both. Make your way back around a little bit more on the eastern town. You come across a large stone building with a circular dome made of glass completely over the top, and completely walled in by 10-foot walls on all sides with a massive iron gate on the front. And in the center of that gate, you see a large bronze lizard embroidered on it. Bill explains to you that this is a compound for the Order of Salamanders. After having a short conversation between him and the guards, and explaining to them his past relationship, keep it as vague as possible, just anything him while he's not here. But eventually you guys are granted access and told that you can have access to the lower library, that which is basically, it's more like common knowledge. Knowledge of spells, history that is known, things of that sort, but things that are more restricted would be.
Okay. What, if anything, would Kelric know about the Order of the Bronze Salamanders? Just in addition to what Nil might have told him.
So go ahead and make a history check at advantage. Give you advantage because Nil's going to be able to. Which will also.
Yeah. That one's cocked, even though I wish it wasn't. It's cocked again. Okay, well, the other dice is the winner. 15 plus, 7. So, 22.
So easy enough. Between what Nil has shared with you, what you heard, and what you know from there also being a sect of the Bronze in the city, one that you were never had any dealings with or much familiarity with because they are not a crafting nature. You never saw much you getting to know anything. What you do come to find out, and what you do already know, is Order of the Bronze Salamander is a order of monks and scholars and scientists, wizards, mages that banded together in a search to increase the wealth of knowledge through all lands and to protect the knowledge of what is considered forbidden from falling into the wrong. Know that the Order of the Bronze Salamanders don't answer to any one government, and that they kind of work separately as an independent organization, and that they have a little bit of not like influence throughout the governments, but their name carries a bit of influence throughout a few of the different major cities.
Yeah, okay. I will try to, between Nil and I, look around for anybody who might be. The name is completely escaping me. A guide to specific sections related
Librarian?
to spellcraft. Yeah, sure. I think there's a specific name for that actual person, but yeah, it might be just be librarian.
Curator?
I'm overcomplicating things. Yeah, something like that.
So, after searching for a while, you do come across a man in burnt orange robes with a necklace with these large bronze balls all around them. Massive, like looks as if they weigh
You
a
are
ton.
5. You are actually 5.
And hanging from that, there is that same symbol that you see upon the gate, a bronze salamander within a bronze ring around his neck. And you notice as he's pushing a cart, he's kind of stocking books up into...
Sounds like they're having fun on the second floor, no? Okay. I will approach him. A good day. Good morning. How are you? I was
Yes.
hoping you could help guide me somewhere.
Could I help you find?
Well, I'm working on a bit of a spell myself. I know it's not common for people to practice in spellcraft, but I just need the finishing larger brushstrokes, if you will, on a kind of a canvas that I've already laid.
Would you
I'm
mind
curious
if
if you
I
have...
took a peek at what you're doing so I could maybe help direct you a little better?
Well, certainly. I will flip open my spellbook, which I have, and flip to the page where I'm working on Elsine's Modulus mural. And I both at the same time will show them my inscription and explain how it's laid out in terms of my own shorthand and almost encryption of sorts. But I will also draw some sigils in the air, and as I do, the tip of my finger will become almost a terracotta, kind of a clay color, and I will just draw a small bowl as I begin what I've achieved so far in the spell. The intention is to kind of stay close to something of the nature of there's another spell, I believe it's called Encode Thoughts. I'm kind of piggybacking off that for the nuances of it, but the implementation is proving tricky.
Well, it is quite neat. Create and master your own. I do commend you on it. As far as Encode Thoughts, Ricky, just follow me right over here. We do have a section of some more basic spells, those of which do not require other more destructive means. He takes you over
Yeah,
to a
nothing
section.
destructive today.
Takes you over to a section where you find a small corner in the library that's kind of lit by a small brazier, and as you're looking at this brazier, instead of giving off a warmth or orange glow, it's a bright white flame, and there is no heat coming from it, but it casts a very large, bright white light throughout this whole area completely. And you can see that it appears as if this area is it's well maintained, but you can see a bits of small cobwebs and thin layer of dust across it. It seems as if not many people visit this section very often. But after a little while, and as he's kind of looking through, yes, here it is, and he pulls out the book, sets it down, and you start flipping through it. Eventually, you do come across the. Like I could either take down notes yourself here on what you need, or I could get you a pen and paper for what you take them with you. I don't know how long you'll be staying.
Well, I could take some notes, yeah, but most of it goes up here, almost instantaneously. That would be helpful. Tell me, do you, obviously I'm working on this to be more of a ritualistic type of spell, not something immediately cast necessarily. I don't have the requirement to do that yet. I don't know if that would make the spell crafting bit easier as far as the large bits are. I don't know if you're experienced in this or not, sorry.
I cannot say that I am, but and then he starts flipping through the book a little bit as he does it. He goes, pulls it down, and as you're looking at the title, it says Fulton's Guide to Ritual Casting.
That is very helpful.
This may give some more insight to help you guide you a little bit further and give you maybe some pointers or maybe draw some inspiration from how other spells created and kept.
That's very helpful. I'm afraid I'm being knowledge greedy. It's kind of in my nature. I don't know if you would have it here on the first floor, and perhaps I would obviously I would be willing to pay a fee if there is one. Would you have access to the base nature of spells for transcription? Non-destructive, of course. I don't intend to burn the city down.
I mean, we do have pen and paper. We would have to go and check the supplies. I'm sure something of nominal value could be.
Oh, no. I was referring to the actual incantations themselves for copying into personal shorthand.
Oh, well, I mean, you could copy them from the book.
Okay. I was speaking specifically about a spell named Sending. I don't know if it would be cheaper as opposed to buying a scroll out in the wild. I'm
Copying it
deconstructing it that way.
from one of our books would be significantly cheaper.
If you have the archives and you're willing, yeah.
Sure, I'm sure I could find it. You see as he walks over, and there is basically at the end of every row of books there is a massive, massive leather-bound book. As he flips it open and starts like pouring through the pages, you get the sense it's probably like a database that kind of lists where you can find.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to afford this. I don't know why I'm bothering.
It seems we do have such a spell, but it is listed as a members-only access.
Select. Understandable. Don't want to arcane wilds stretching into the wrong hands. I won't push the matter any further. You've been most helpful.
I do apologize that we couldn't satisfy your thirst. We do appreciate those who value the depths of knowledge.
Yeah, well, I appreciate your time and your helpfulness. I'll just be here taking some notes, and I'll be sure oh my gosh, I can't speak. Sure to return them to precisely where you once left them.
By all means.
Thank you.
Looks and he bows to you and Nil, and then back down the hallway to where he was working.
And to keep it short, unless you want to RP all of this, I will just copy down what I believe I need for, I believe I misspoke earlier, but to hopefully boost and or get further along on Leoris's modulus mural.
Yeah, you basically have the significantly or drastically amount needed to.
This is exactly what I needed. Nil, I am in your proverbial debt, as dangerous as that is.
Nil will, of course, take thanks and give some sort of smart remark like he always does. And then he'll kind of mention to you that he's going to bow out. And...
Yeah, okay. It's back to the group for me.
So, we find the rest of you back with a golden harp. What would
I drink.
Same.
Cress?
There's nothing else to do. Cress trains.
Up to you.
There's plenty to do. You could drink.
Maria?
Cress, where are you training? Are you training in the inn?
front of
Picks
the
up a bar
bar.
stool in the
Like
corner.
on the
Oh,
table?
oh.
No, she's
Just
just
No, bro.
she's curling a gnome in each arm.
Just table training, not table dancing.
She's like outside.
She's doing push-ups on top of the table.
Hi, baby.
So, we'll fast forward then as Neil and Kelric make their way back. Golden Harp after a couple hours spent within Order of the Bronze Salamanders compound.
How did it go? I see some of you have been through quite a few tankards here. Jeez. Okay.
Well,
Call
we were
these tankards.
Well, I mean, you are built like a tank, so. Tanks exist now. It's canon.
No.
Make tanks.
Not
No,
making tanks.
Tanks are such an
Because
exotic
if I
breed
make
of
tanks, sooner or later
bull.
you guys are gonna want a tank. And with 2 tinkers in the group, you guys will probably just make one.
I mean, we're already gonna make a
Or
giant
I'll
mining
steal
machine,
one.
so what's the
Yeah, I
difference?
was gonna say, give me a week.
Yeah, give us a couple weeks for making a giant mining machine, so. To the Underdark we go by our
That's
own
it.
choice.
That's if Tova doesn't just steal one.
Okay,
Kelric,
that's fair.
I
Yeah.
feel like I should be offended that you've compared me to a bull. Especially
No,
such a
like one of those
vicious-
big aquarium bowls, you know? They're super strong, they're
No,
holding
the
all that
tank
water.
is such an aggressive breed of bull.
What do you mean bowl? What?
Aggressive breed of bull.
What's a... Oh, like bowl with the horns bowl.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't call you aggressive
Oh, man.
until you per se needed to be. But yeah, I would say you're aggressive when you need to be. You're the first one to charge in, right alongside Zeros and Avaria. And Tofin sometimes. Foolish as that is. I meant no offense. I apologize.
It's fine. Dude,
Well, I did all my boring book shit, so we can do whatever you guys need. The problem that I am seeing is that we still don't have a solution to tell the Queen our resolution. That was an inadvertent rhyme.
I mean, we have these
I suppose we could go
envelopes
talk.
of sending.
Nobody knows you can cast Sending, Avari.
I know.
You could speak up.
I could.
Maybe she
Let's
doesn't want
select
to.
that. Let me see if I got it actually.
Yeah, I mean, the means to do it rests within the Arcane Rose, but it's a lot of money, and I don't even know if we have that much.
Oh, we definitely have that much in total.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would say it's worth spending it all on me. But it would let me contact anyone pretty much anywhere. I've seen this spell before, I just never had it fully.
I know the spell. I can do the spell.
You can do the spell.
I can do the spell.
Are you going to?
Maybe.
Well, that's nifty.
I've got it right here.
Makes
Right
me
here
a little
with me.
sad. Wish I had a shortcut.
But it's
I'll tell
gonna
you what.
cost.
What does it end up costing?
I want food. Every time I have to send something.
Oh, well, that's easy. Bartender,
Quickly comes over. Yes,
whatever the missus wants, please.
ma'am.
I want bread.
By all means. After a while, he goes back and like a loaf of bread.
That's exactly what I want.
Her price is bread.
Look at all you've been eating, ma'am.
No, we'll
Yes.
take another
Oh.
loaf or two, please.
That's what we need.
I'll have to run out to the cart where the baker's at, but I'll be right on it.
Oh, that lovely woman. No, I think Cress has a rapport with her, don't you?
yeah, what's up? What do you need from?
Well, apparently every time we need Avaria to send a message, we're going to need to pay her in bread, so we'll have to stop by and pick some up.
Okay.
Ooh, if we're bothering to buy bread, we should stock up on some of that fancy cinnamon butter they've got in the nice cities.
I want that! This is what I want.
Okay. Well, would you
Regretting
kindly-
asking us to play this game, Matt.
Would you
I will
kindly, now that you
suffice
have
with-
your bread?
I'll say, I will gladly send whatever you want.
Okay, well, remember, you're in charge and every word counts.
Get
But
25
the
words.
general
I was gonna say, you get up to 25 words.
message is something along the lines of we would accept more of a sponsorship position rather than inscription.
Fuck
Or
you, we're
conscription, I
not
should
joining
say.
your stuff, right?
No, not quite.
Yeah.
That's quite off. Cress, put that thumb down, please.
It's technically
I'm so
partially
scared.
correct.
I mean,
Not the grammar I would.
It's about 10% correct.
I will send exactly what he tells me to send.
Okay, what is he telling you to send?
What are you telling me to send? Exactly what you want, 25 words or less.
Why am I in charge of this?
Because you're the smart one.
Yeah, okay. Your offer is extremely generous. I'm not counting these words, by the way.
I got you.
However, we would accept a position of sponsorship rather than conscription.
hold on, wait. I need, like, make some tally marks here.
You got 3 more words.
3 more words.
3 more?
Fuck
I
you,
believe.
bitch.
You got more than 3, unless I missed some words.
I mean, that's
Am
basically.
I
the
off by
body.
5? Is it 8?
What was it again?
Oh fuck.
25?
I don't know. I'll
Your
start
offer
over.
is extremely generous. What was it?
But we would much prefer sponsorship rather than conscription. How many do I have left?
Let's see.
I hate casting sending so much.
You don't have to use every single word, just so you...
Are we counting commas
Yes,
as
you do.
words?
No, we're not counting commas as
No.
words.
Proper grammar, boy.
Okay, you got 10 more words. We gotta get our money's worth.
Oh,
Josh
shit.
is gonna make a
Yeah, no.
spreadsheet of every sending thing we ever send.
Well, actually, quite specifically, we have to get the Empress's money's worth because she bought that bread.
May
Or sorry, Queen.
the light
Yeah, I would hate to get a low grade on this the word count.
So we got 10 words left. What were you saying, Chris?
may the light be with you.
Oh, hell no. I'll send everything but that shit.
That would put us at 4 words left if we put that at the end.
I'm not mean about your god.
Sure, put that at the end and just
Is
simply
this like a
ask, "Is
texting
that
thing? Can we put
acceptable?"
like a smiley face at the end?
Yeah,
No.
can I send an emoji?
You can't send an emoji.
I hate this.
Say I'm
Equals
smiling.
parentheses.
Okay, so I'm sending all except for
Eggplant.
may the light be with you, 'cause that sounds like Star Wars.
Can we just throw an eggplant emoji at the end?
Oh, you're right.
Alright, I sent it. I sent exactly what he said.
Well, be mindful because she can reply if she likes.
Did-
I'm
did
sure
you
she
add
gets these kind of things all the time. Oh
Only
shit,
has
she
10
doesn't know who
words.
you are.
So just so I know exactly what you're saying, read it to me one more time.
Oh fuck, I don't know. Somebody else read it.
Gosh,
Your
we'll
Write
offer
it
is
down.
extremely generous, but we much prefer sponsorship rather than. I think I have conscription written. I don't know if that's right.
That's
Okay.
the right word.
Yes.
I don't think I spelled it right, but that's
So about 30-45 seconds goes by and reply.
You've got mail.
we leave her on. We're gonna leave her on red.
While that is not quite the answer I was looking for, it is better than a no. Why don't we get together? Let's say you guys
Just
come
left.
visit us in the capital and we can talk about it more in depth about how the Empire can better suit your needs.
I think that was more than 25 words.
Guys, we got a second date. It's not what we were looking for.
Okay, so we're definitely ghosting the queen, right?
Just send that in almost uncertain terms, and she'll use as many sending spells from her mages with her as possible to get across her message. But you guys will get another message immediately after. Should you guys be within the vicinity, let's call it the end of the month, as we are at the beginning. You guys could make your way here, and we can talk about it a little bit more and get a definite answer by then.
Alright, so I'm gonna send another message.
So you guys have 38 days to make your decision and
Just send her back like the letter K.
for her instructions.
Okay.
Yeah, if she sent you another message, you could reply to
You
it.
can reply. Get 25 words to reply.
Oh shit, guys!
I will give you guys,
Hold on,
you know,
hold on. Before
I don't know.
before we say anything rash,
I don't know the
hold on.
exact extent of how long you have to reply, but you guys can talk about it.
I don't think anything
Rip
specified in
headphone
the spell.
users.
I don't think
Yeah, that
anything
was loud as
specifies the
Okay.
amount of time you have until you can apply to sending. I feel like maybe after like 10 minutes, the spell would kind of.
Avaria, please refrain from yelling. The entire tavern is deafened when you do.
Does it yell in her ear when it
Before-
walks?
Probably.
What?
Abari, yell the whole message.
Yell the
like
whole
DDoSing.
message?
Yes.
No, please don't.
I don't
My
think
next
we have it
message, I'll
synced up.
send it. I'll yell.
For the
Yeah.
sake of
You're
for the
not
sake of the
saying that
stream,
wrong.
please do not.
That's what I meant.
What if she sings it?
For the sake of the stream.
Oh, we don't want that. We'll all go deaf if I sing.
I forgot to roll. I did not know at the end of sending there was a 5% chance that the message does not arrive.
Shh.
I thought it was on
There it
a.
is.
They're on a different plane of existence.
There's a
Send a
5%
message
chance.
across any distance and even to other planes of existence, but if the target if they target on a different plane. You're right. I missed that line.
Yeah.
I skipped
Oh,
over
good.
that.
I was gonna say, we finally found something less reliable than the USPS if it's a 5% chance to fail.
Oh.
Oh, speaking of USPS, I just had a glass cup I ordered arrived shattered.
Okay, it does say if you can answer in a like manner immediately.
So what you're
I'll
telling
give
me
you, I'll
is
give
you
you a
ordered
short
a
amount of
puzzle.
time to decide. but
Alright,
it
guys.
does- It does specify.
Are we
you have to reply
replying?
immediately.
Well, yeah, I think we should.
What do we need to reply? We gotta think.
Whatever you reply, yell it.
Please don't.
And say Joanna says
how about get this? We try and make some more money out.
I'm
Bitch
not
better
sure
have
what
my
much-
money.
Just saying, you know, we might need our travel expenses covered for the next 38 days or so. So we could see what we can.
Are you talking about a state? Cress wouldn't know that word.
We just gonna reply with K.
Oh,
K!
Jesus Christ! I'm dead.
Okay, that's your response.
You're
then.
welcome.
Yeah.
From now on, stage yell, please.
Yes, please.
Hey. Chris told me to yell.
I know, but you're sitting right in front of a mic that's been adjusted for the entire room to pick up.
It's
mad.
okay. It'll be fine.
And the rest of us have headphones on.
Microphones in here.
I didn't hear anything from it, so we're good.
FBI.
My fucking ears. It's the loudest thing of my life. Okay, well, if that's yeah, I do think we're in a good. I do kind of agree with you, Holland. We are kind of in a unique, possibly advantageous bargaining position. I have no doubt with someone with her resources who would be willing to, before the official sponsorship, at least hedge up the ability for us to get there to explain our decision to her, and further communication. Obviously, you know, I'm kind of chasing this spell over and over. I even tried to find it while I was with Nil. but it would give me the opportunity to send her updates on our position and status. But if we've replied with just K, then perhaps another day. We'll have time, I'm sure.
Yeah, and now we kind of have to go to the capital. I mean, we don't have to do anything, but we've kind of
We can go.
obligated
fine.
ourselves.
She won't even notice.
You can
think
flee the
to
country.
I think to refuse such summons would be, maybe not a crime, but would definitely burn a bridge.
I'm great at hiding. We'll be fine.
Yeah, I used to be until she showed up in town about a week ago. Or shit, it's only been a couple days. It's been exactly
3 days.
okay.
Dick.
Fucking keen wine. I know, I'm sorry. I have it. I don't fucking use it. It's such a douche feat. Well, that clears us. That clears us up having to deal with any of that. Let's go to this gazebo and see what's what.
Go into the gazebo.
God.
You called it a gazebo. You fed
You
into
called it a gazebo now. Yeah.
One of us.
Come join us, all 1 IQ adventurers.
That's
We have-
generous.
We have one collective brain cell amongst
One,
us.
yeah, one collective IQ.
You guys are going to gather your things and start heading out of town.
Yeah.
We have horses at the moment, or are those? Where are those at?
They don't.
You guys do have horses that are being kept within the stables. Shelby has literally yanked one of my minis away.
Oh, that's right. We do have
Time
the
out.
horses.
You
Who
need
was I? Who
one?
was I saddled up with? I was saddled up with you, I think, Tofin. Yeah.
Yep.
You guys had
Yeah, we
two
got
horses
those
horses.
last
giant
time.
fucking Clydesdales.
Oh, that's right.
You guys do not have the Clydesdales.
Oh.
You have your 2 original horses that you arrived in town with.
Those ones I stole.
I'm pretty sure we still have the Clydesdales.
Not have the Clydesdales. Turn to the to the
I dressed our old horses up in Clydesdale costumes
Oh, is that right?
and hid the other ones.
So that's what Tofin does in the middle of the night.
Yeah, when he's not busy sleeping. It's gonna pay dividends for us, actually.
Do you guys have a cart?
Yeah, it's quite wonderful.
You guys do have a cart, and you have 2 horses, one of which was stolen.
Well, between 2 horses and an... I'm sorry? It was stolen.
You see what had happened was.
Well, you don't know that, Holland.
Yeah,
Also,
you're
was
right.
it
That was
surprise?
Dustin asking because it's been such a long time.
Yeah.
Well, the cart's enough for all of us. Spud and
Well-
Helen are a little heavy given the arm and the, metal creation, but we can fit them.
I see how it is. Me and Spud are so heavy that we'll just pull the cart too.
I'm sorry, I was trying to make a.
the lag made it so much better.
Yep. It sounds like your voice cracked, Helen. Are you okay? I'm sorry. I was
yeah,
trying to
I'm
make a,
fine.
I was
Probably.
trying to make a poorly framed joke about dead weight, but you're anything but.
Well, would it speed up our journey if I used my?
Oh, I get it. Yeah, that's very
You gonna finish that?
your
My elk.
yeah. I mean, between 2 horses and an elk, I'm sure that would be fine.
Would it speed it up?
Could assume that it would.
I shall summon.
Oh, that's right.
Curtain.
You're not going to do anything in the middle of this bar, Cressida. Stop.
So can Spud keep up with the
Go
horses?
outside. Oh
Okay,
yeah,
that's
Spud
bad.
can keep up with the horses. What
Yeah,
do you
let's say
think?
how heavy is Spud?
He's like a fucking.
Spud's around
ingot of
100
iron.
pounds.
Yeah, he's like. an
Okay, so
ingot
he's
of iron.
definitely not riding with the horses. Okay.
Put him on top of the elk. It'll be fine.
I go and I
It's gotta
summon
be
my
fine
elf
in the cart. It'll be fine.
Okay. As you make your way outside and begin muttering the fine steed, eventually your massive elk with its glowing blue antlers, right?
I don't think he's glowing anymore.
Told me his antlers were glowing. I don't. That was just something you did.
I used light.
Oh, that's what it was.
I can
Oh,
make him
use-
glow again.
Yeah, use it again. It's cool.
I'll just make his antlers glow. What do I want to make it glow today? Yellow.
Is it foggy? Because we might need red.
Rudolph the red.
Shut up.
Thankfully, someone got that one. Sorry.
Jokes are full.
Y'all can hang me at the tribunal. I'll accept it.
I'm going home.
Well, it is
You're already
melt
there.
miss.
Damn it.
Yeah,
Everything's melting.
it is Melvis. The first day of this illustrious month. We're gonna spend the rest of this month telling the DM things are melting. Okay, everybody mount up. We're wasting time. Let's go. And we set off, I hope.
Yeah, let's
Let's
get
get
in
this
your
train
fancy
rolling.
ass cart.
As long as everyone is mounting up and getting ready, then that is what we will do.
I'm down.
Who is guiding the cart?
I will.
Not me, I'm busy working on my spell.
Yeah.
Okay, Cress and Avaria will climb up into the front of the cart as the rest of you kind of pile in back. Go ahead and each of you make your animal handling checks, or one of you roll at advantage.
What's your animal handling?
+7.
Yeah, you roll at advantage.
Oh, now I gotta clean up my tray.
Use
Don't
the
hate.
D&D Beyond roller.
Too late. 14 plus 7.
Fizz,
21.
thank you. You do this for a living, right?
I do not do math for a living.
So,
Sure.
you guys all kind of get up there, and Cressida, you give directions to your elk, which understands you telepathically. Avaria, you kind of grab the reins and get the horses going. You guys set out on a fairly fast, or a fairly decent pace. How would you guys like to travel on a fine autumn day?
The music.
This music
changed,
does
thank
not
God.
seem like fine autumn day.
Huh?
This music is not fine autumn day.
That music was driving me insane.
I will play this
You
music.
don't like the tavern music?
it's
I would like to travel.
it's too much.
How would you guys like to travel?
We're gonna-
Fast, slow, normal?
Yes.
Normal.
So, you guys get your horses.
Oh, I threw my chair.
You guys get your way set out onto the northern edge, or the northern road leading out of Baldenport. And as you guys turn back and look, as you crest over the top of the hill, you guys can see the crystal clear teal waters of the Azure Lagoon reflecting off of and kind of illuminating the horizon as port behind you starts to fade. As you guys continue a little bit down to a more familiar road of the Emperor's Byway, you come to the fork in the road. You guys start to veer off to the left. Familiar sight of what you guys have seen from earlier in your adventures, where you come, or a familiar trip to all of you started coming down this very same pathway, heading towards Ole Field, where you guys would eventually meet. You guys are as you guys are passing by, you can feel the breeze and the chirping of the birds. You start to make your way up of the Emperor's Byway here, to kind of along the southern edge here of the Ingalda Forest. You can see the familiar sight of the trees start to grow a little bit denser as the forest comes a little more into view. It's a fairly quiet day on the road, but you do get a few passersby. You get a few of the guards, those of what you have seen before in their color and their familiar colors, black and red, kind of going past you a little bit faster pace, heading in the direction of Ole Field. From what you guys remember, guards are sent there weekly to pick up kegs of Ole Field ale to take back to the capital. You do pass them by as they're making their way for their normal trip. Pass by some more familiar looking faces, not people you've seen before, but more dressed in a garb of those of what you remember of Ole Field, maybe traveling between the different cities. A little bit more of a wholesome feeling to these travelers. Not the more lavish and upkeep of what you last week or so as you've been with him. As you guys keep going, you do a familiar sight. Tophen, something you are very familiar with, rolling down the road. A black carriage with a familiar sight of a man in a tall black hat upon the front of it, coming your way.
Wait, as I see it in the distance, before it gets close enough for us to recognize it, I want to turn to Avaria.
Huh?
Avaria. What if we now I'm not saying we should do this because I wouldn't do this, but what if someone else did this? What if one of us jumped out in front of that cart?
I'll do it.
or someone hit the side of it.
Can
And
the
then,
rest of us hear this?
I'm gonna
Yes.
pick up
We're
my
in a
hammer.
cart.
Yes, you can
Yeah, I was about to ask.
One of us got out of the cart.
What the hell is what is the matter with you two?
We're in a
Leave the
conversation.
poor guy
A&B
alone.
conversation. See your way out. What now? I'm just gonna pick up my hammer.
Okay, so one of us hits the cart as we're going by, right? As we're going by, and then someone else lays in the road behind it and acts like they hit them.
For the love of God, please don't.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump
No!
out of our cart,
No!
run and hide. You hit the cart, and I'm gonna roll out like I got hit. Is that what I'm hearing here?
No.
You know what? I'm all for these extreme plans, but this is just a dude.
And as Cress is saying this, I'm guessing the cart's rolling closer and closer.
It
and
is
so
getting closer.
So it looks like it's starting to look like it's Galius's. So Cress just kind of looks down. I can't. He recognizes. It's the dude.
Oh, now it's really game on.
Yes.
So, as the cart is now drawing closer, and those of you all can see, maybe about 60 feet down the road, the black horse-drawn carriage of Galius rolling down the dirt road of the Emperor's Byway here, pulling a little bit closer, and you see the familiar sight of this stout man with his large mustache and tall black hat. And as he looks up and kind of gets a little bit of a grin on his face and starts, guys! Starts trying to wave you down.
I
What
want
the fuck is wrong with you two?
I want to
You guys
hit
know
his
this?
cart with my hammer.
That's a good question.
No,
A little bit closer.
don't do that. Don't hit.
About 45 feet from your cart now.
As we
You
get closer,
see-
I just want to stand with
You
it,
see
ready
him-
to
you see him
go.
pull on the
I'm-
reins of his horses and pull them off to the side of the road a little bit to stop.
I'm going to.
I'm
oh, okay.
jumping out and running at his cart.
Is anybody
Okay.
attempting to stop her?
I cast Hold Person on Avaria.
Yes.
You
Yes.
sons of a bitch.
I don't have the means to
I've
cover
got-
property destruction.
Can I break that? Can I break out of it?
You have to roll against his DC.
What is
Yeah,
it?
it's a wisdom saving throw of. I wasn't ready to do this. I'm apologize. I don't have it on hand.
I think yours-
15. You're gonna get out of it. You're a fucking cleric.
No.
She's paralyzed.
So go ahead. You can narrate this for me if you'd like.
Realistically, every 6 seconds you get to reroll, so you're gonna be stopped for like I don't know, 10
So
seconds or less.
basically, as you jump out of the cart and go to run, you just feel your body paralyzed in place, and you fall over.
You son of a bitch!
Please don't yell.
Roll again.
I'm scared.
Is anyone going to attempt to grapple her while she is stunned?
Tell me when I can roll.
I just take her warhammer away.
The other strong person is literally on board with this plan. I'm not
So
fucking grappling
Tophin, you walk up
Avaria.
and you grab her warhammer out of her hand. Go ahead and roll.
Gosh dang it!
Ouch.
I'm sorry.
Don't yell.
I'm not meaning to.
Wow.
Does anyone else want to do anything else?
I think I've been to concerts that are quieter.
Roll.
Can I just drop the
14
warhammer
plus
into
4.
the haversack?
18. I'm
Yeah,
out.
you can drop.
I'm
You can
out.
drop her warhammer within the haversack.
I'm out.
You are out.
Okay, so I'm going
Don't worry,
to.
she's got something else.
Shh.
You gotta pick up a huge rock or something.
Where are my javelins?
Avaria,
I'm gonna throw a
Avaria,
javelin.
wait.
What?
Avaria, wait.
Why are you attacking this man?
I don't like him.
Tophin's boyfriend.
Yeah, this is Tofin's plug. We know him.
What?
So
Boyfriend
Galius
would
notices
be
you guys going on. And he's just like
wrong,
the look of happiness on his face has gone to like straight confusion because as far as he was concerned, he thought he left everything left on great terms with you guys.
Nah, I hate
Never
him.
thought I would say that in this game of D&D,
It
but I
is.
just fucking did. Hey man, you're the one who fucking... Well, yeah, you're the one who did.
Yeah.
Not even unproud of it either. You're fucking proud of it.
Oh lord,
He doesn't know what I was doing. I could be running out to hug him.
could be running out to.
Yes, with Warhammer raised at the ready. I'm sure. Fuck.
I did like him.
God forbid we run into some peasants along the road. Y'all are gonna fucking slaughter them.
So, are you guys approaching him, letting him sit there, passing by?
I've kind of just looked up from my
Well,
books.
I have money.
Unless this
Guess I'll
motherfucker has a
approach.
sense
Are
of
you-
scroll.
you'll begin
Saying
approaching
you'd
you
like
guys.
to spend your money, Cress.
Friends, how are you? It's been a while. Oh,
He's restarting his computer.
gotcha.
I'm not sure we really
sure
had
has.
the pleasure of meeting.
Were you not there last time? I was a little preoccupied.
It was a little hectic, yeah.
So, how have you guys been? You guys look a little different. Kind of looking you guys over. Hoping you're looking well, I see, as he, like, strokes his mustache.
As always. So are you?
So, how are the gifts coming along? Have you guys made good use of the haversack?
Oh, absolutely. It's been wonderful.
Well, I do appreciate it. Oh, well, I guess I have you here. And he'll take out the familiar long cane that he has, kind of like snaps it into existence as you guys saw before, and just taps on his cart. And just like before, the stairs unfold out, and the two sides fly wide open,
You
and the
fat
top rolls out into
bastard.
like this small little overhang. And you guys can see the different wares that he has there of clothes and potions, a couple different books and scrolls, and various knickknacks.
Matt, you know I have no money. Stop doing this. You know I'm fucking poor.
See that horse? See that horse over there that's well fed and cared for and loved?
Yes, you are doing very well, although I still believe that is not yours.
Oh, it is mine. You
The man's
fat
property
bastard.
is his. Just because you take it does not make it yours.
Oh no, it's mine.
Well, there's some.
Where's my
some
Warhammer?
sour-
Gone.
I want it
I
back.
sold it.
I will kill you.
You'll get it back when you're responsible enough to have it.
Well, when he's not a fat bastard, maybe I'd be responsible.
Cressida, you're looking a little bit stronger than last we met.
Yeah, you notice I've been really working my guns.
You use those guns to restrain your friend. She scares me.
I can, for a price.
I am a businessman.
I have questions.
I possibly have answers.
Can we do the ball bubble thing again?
If you wish for them to be private without your friends hearing, then yes.
Absolutely.
Take my javelin, just
He'll tap on the door, and as he does, it kind of swings open, and this short little hobgoblin man wobbles out. George, keep an eye on the cart while we have a conversation.
I'm sorry, what? Hang on.
Short hobgoblin?
A hobgoblin just fucking walked out of what?
Sorry, just a normal goblin. I misspoke.
Walked out of what now?
Walked out of his cart.
Okay.
What was his coat?
George, keep an eye on the cart while we have a conversation. He just kind of looks up, sits and looks at all you guys, gleaming with these beady little yellow eyes.
God, I want to stab him.
That's dark.
So, as you guys kind of make your way a little bit off the road, and Galius reaves a few incantations, and you feel this as the bubble creates itself around you. What would you like to speak about?
So remember how we talked about ancient time magic, all that fun?
Yes, we did speak of
Hoo-ha.
chronomancy.
Cress is gonna pull out the cube.
Okay, then. Well, what is that you have there?
So you say that chronomancy is like super ancient, whatever, and like right now it's in the wrong hands. And you seem really knowledgeable about it. What could you tell me about this cube? Do you know anything about this cube?
Can't say that I do. Although, mind if I took a look at it? Gestures his hand.
Cressida's gonna... Wait, can I insight? Does he look like shifty as he's asking this?
Sure, go ahead and roll.
He always looks shifty.
Motherfucker, 8.
The short time you've known Galius, and the conversations you've had with him, it is evident that he is a hard man to read. So you can't really tell whether, I mean, he's not being any different than his normal, joyous, very happy-go-lucky self. Doesn't seem as if he has any cruel or deceitful intention.
Knowing that the gem is, like, in her chest plate, yeah, Cressida trusts handing him the cube, and she does so. Though, albeit a bit hesitantly, like...
He'll, like, very slowly reach his hand out, and just kind of, without fully taking it from your hand, as he can tell you're being a little hesitant and iffy about it, he just kind of, like, looks it over and, like, uses your hand to turn it over and look at it, and... peculiar. I see familiar symbols, but can't say I know what it is.
Familiar symbols as in how? Why are they familiar? Where have you seen them?
Well, as in this, and he starts weaving them in the air, and in the familiar sense, as he did it a little bit slower this time, the world around you kind of fades to black and white. You look back at your friends, and they're all frozen still.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, my internet went wacko.
So, as a familiar sight from the last time you guys met with Galius, he kind of weaves a few symbols in the air, a little bit slower this time, so that you can kind of trace what he's doing. And as he does, the rest of the world kind of fades to black and white, and you quickly like turn around to look at your friends to make sure they're okay and still there, and they're all like frozen still, almost frozen in time. And then about 6 seconds fades, and it all
Give
comes
me
back.
1 second. I'm gonna try and fix my internet real quick, because every time I ask you to re-say something, you're like...
Okay. Well, while she's doing that, what are the rest of you doing with George at the cart?
Well, I suppose if George is allowing it, we just like, well, I won't speak for everybody. I just like to peruse some options, see what's what.
Okay.
What's for
Well,
sale?
GM, can I get a little context on what happened in like the 3-4 minutes that I was restarting my computer?
So Cress went to have a conversation privately with Galius on the side of the road, and as she did, he kind of tapped his cart, and it opened, and a small little goblin man named George came out, and he was instructed to keep an eye on the cart to ensure none of you guys.
Our peruse.
Okay.
So George just kind of looks up. Well, you guys gonna buy anything?
Bitch, I
Yeah,
ain't
we'd
gonna
like
buy
to take
Excuse
a,
me, sir.
we'd like to take a look at what you've got if you've.
Sir, I'm a woman,
Oh.
thank you.
Oh God.
My apologies, ma'am, but that's no way to come off at a potentially paying customer, or any consumer for that matter. You're not going to get any sales like that.
I'm just probably like, can't see the dick wing in between my loincloth.
I'll be honest, I wasn't looking. No offense. Yeah.
Well, Goblinoid, would you be so
Name's
happy
George.
as George? Would you be so kind as to calmly take us onto your cart and allow us to browse your wares?
Where do you want me to take you on? There's like 2 feet of steps here.
Are you gonna let anyone in the cart or not?
I mean, if you want to take a look, just use your eyeballs.
Okay, I will take a look around for my interest, DM, and the rest of the party. Give us a pitch if you would. Make it simple.
So as you're looking it over, you do notice a few different vials of a red liquid, one you could assume to be health potions. The assortment of clothes, ranging from winter garbs to kind of some fancier clothes. Looking it over, you find a few different books. You actually see a familiar sight of a book that you had just read at Colton's Book of Rituals, or Guide to Ritual Casting. It looks as if this guy has his own copy of it. And as you're looking through, you come across a few things. Some normal shop supplies, paper, ink, incense, hempen rope, small little hatchets, flint, things for use for starting a fire. General store supply.
George, do you guys have anything more mechanically inclined?
Yeah, like a grill.
Well,
Wait.
sure, we can make one.
Like a foreman.
I hate you people so much.
What sort of mechanical things you're looking for? And as he goes over and he pulls open a drawer, and as you're looking at it, it appears as if the drawer is kind of black, as if you can't see in it. But he like leans almost in, almost falling in, which is weird because it looks as if the drawer is much deeper than it appears. He just starts like throwing things out, and it looks like he's just like throwing out random bits and bobs of metallic things.
What sorts of metallic things? Just like scrap metal, or like gears and nuts?
Like small pieces of sheet metal, copper tubing, some what appear to be just like small little pieces of ingots, gears, different things like that.
I'd like to, if I could, scoop up the copper, just copper in general, obviously, but obviously as well the copper tubing. He kind of throws out, and I'll collect it to pitch a price for him later.
Sure.
Could prove useful. It's a good conductor of the aether energy.
George, do you have anything more fancy than scrap metal, perchance?
I mean, I could check the wares, but I'll have to check with the boss. He pulls out a little copper wire and whispers a little message into it. Cress, as you're talking to this Galius, you hear him, you see him kind of look away for us, or kind of like bob his head for a second as if he's hearing something else. and then he mutters something under his breath, and you don't quite catch what. But it basically, what you get the sense is he just told them go ahead. So George will disappear. He's 1 minute. And he opens up the cart door, and as you guys all get a minute to kind of peer in, the cart opens up, and you see a grandiose banquet room, probably larger than the Golden Harp. And he shuts the door behind him. And it's going to take him a few minutes to go to the storeroom, so we'll go back to Cress.
Yeah, I'm good now, so you should be able to repeat everything you said.
Trying to remember the context of where we were.
Oh, Cress asked why he recognized the symbols.
Oh, yes, so what he did is he weaved a few of the arcane symbols in the air, and then within that instant, a familiar sight is what you saw before, is like the rest of the world faded to black and white. You turn around, and you see your friends kind of frozen in time, sitting there talking with George, this tiny goblin man. And then about 6 seconds later, it all comes back. Well, you see, that is, it's time magic.
Well, obviously I know what it is, but I don't. So,
I was just making sure that you knew.
you and I both know.
I can't say I quite know what this object is. Although it is a wondrous object indeed, would you happen to...
Absolutely not.
I could make you an offer.
How big of an offer?
How big of an offer would you like?
How big an offer? How big of an offer do you have?
How's 10,000 gold pieces?
Remember,
Mr.
Cress
Well,
doesn't
remember
know
getting a pretty
money.
big offer.
But you can't count.
Mr. Galius. I don't know what that means.
Well, talk it over with your party. I'm sure they could enlighten you.
Well, if we were to negotiate about this object, I would have a few stipulations.
Oh?
Or I would have. I would like to perhaps use a little spell I know, just to make sure you're not up to no good.
By whatever do you mean?
Well, I feel like this in the wrong hands. Obviously, this in the wrong hands would screw up some lives.
So, what would you propose?
Well, I would propose you tell me the truth.
I have been nothing but truthful with you.
Why would you want this?
Looking it over, it's something of ancient, and to the right buyer, this could make me a very happy, very rich man.
And who would that right buyer be?
Well, I don't happen to know that off the top of my head.
Like, say a certain syndicate in a certain city were to be interested in this, and even though you
they
said
would
this,
be very interested.
and would you consider selling to them?
The right price? I mean, everything is available for the right.
Then obviously,
Aiden, you're
I could
muted,
never.
by the way.
Me?
I'm sorry, I was talking to myself.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, I couldn't give it to you then. I apologize. This has ruined too many lives.
This cube has ruined too many lives?
The magic in this cube has ruined too many lives.
Well, that is all up to interpretation. It could also have saved many lives.
Give me an example.
I have a direct example of how it saves lives, although I do know that some who have a greater control of this ability are able to lengthen their lifespans, which in turn could bring some people who would be able to use this on their loved ones more happiness.
Yet, it can also take lifespans away.
So true. With most arcane things, there is a give and a take.
I don't think being able to elongate some lifespan is worth destroying others.
That is your viewpoint to have. Everyone is entitled to their opinion.
Oh, poor ghost. Well, I think I may have to decline.
Well, that is for you to decide. So, after they're having this short conversation, about 10 minutes goes by for you guys, and George comes back and opens up the door, swings open the door, sets down a small chest, and pulls it open. And as you're looking in there, Elric, you see a familiar sight. Something that's not unlike your own creation sits on your hip, but you see a fully completed, perfect condition Aether Boomstick sitting there within this small wooden chest.
Wow, George, that's really schmancy.
From the angle that it's sitting, obviously me not having picked it up, do I see a maker's mark?
Make perception.
A 17 plus 2, 19.
You do see a small maker's mark on the back of the button on your head tinker Lazarus.
Okay.
George, may I, if you don't mind? I'm gonna, I guess, stick out my hand as if wanting to pick it up.
Slams it shut. Very valuable.
God,
I
you're so
understand that.
annoying.
I'm from where these are made. You want to? You want to see something else valuable?
Go buy your own.
Maybe that's what we're trying to do.
Is this not up for sale?
It is for sale. Do you
Then
have the
can I
coin?
not look at it to see if I want to buy it?
He opens it back up. There, look at it.
How much?
I would have to consult the boss, but last I looked, 5,000 gold pieces.
Whatever, it ain't worth even a quarter of that. You're lucky
George,
to
look
get
at
4
those.
gold pieces.
Such a weapon is the genesis to kill thousands.
You are correct, but this could also be a great tool of self-defense.
Yeah, well,
We need our negotiator.
even what I hold here on my person is enough to start a movement which will kill hundreds of thousands. And lead to a complete change in the way that battle is done. I'm only lucky that I have my spellcraft pursuits to distract me, or else I probably would have fallen into this same path.
You guys don't have the coin?
Maybe we
No.
do.
We do not.
Walks over.
Would like to get a good look, either with this perception check or a next one. When you talk about a complete design, I mean, I know Kelric's is a mash bash, kind of a madman's invention. How refined are we speaking? We talking full, like, I guess modern day understanding you and I handgun form, where most of the elements are concealed?
You know how your prop looks?
I do.
Basically that. A much more refined, well-polished, well-designed handgun.
Y'all are some overpriced bitches here.
We're not in the market. But we appreciate you showing us.
Well, I'll just put it back then. He opens up the door and just tosses the box.
I'll explain to you all in a bit if you really want to know.
At about this time, Cress and Galius would be making...
Heard your name
George?
is Galius, yeah?
That it is, good sir. And yours?
I'll let... Sorry, I didn't want to jump in front of Dustin. I'll let Dustin finish.
No, you're fine. I was not going to say anything important. I was going to ask George his level of education.
Is that how you're saying it?
Sure, yeah, I'll say that to Kelric.
Oh, okay.
What
you're
is
saying that to Cal.
George's level of... Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say something to George.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh,
Before he walks away, he's walking away with the chest right now.
What, George? I don't know if this is a faux pas where you come from. I'm not really concerned about it. What's your education level?
I'm smarter than you.
Are you sure about that? Because you could have just blown up whatever fancy portal dimension you've got in there by throwing that thing around.
That box is indestructible.
Indestructible, uh-huh. And what is it made out of?
Wood?
Give me 10 seconds with it and I can destroy it.
Okay. Thank you, George.
No, you don't have your hammer.
If you give me my hammer,
I know
I'm
you haven't
gonna
been
get
around
grounded.
for
You're
the-
not
my
ready
hammer.
for it yet.
I am ready.
Yes, you are.
George is
You are
nothing but a
grounded
little
currently.
bitch.
You are currently grounded from your hammer. It has
Why do
been
I get
confiscado.
grounded?
Talk to your
I
party,
don't
don't
know.
look at me.
You're a bunch of bitches.
Holland, I know you haven't been around for everything, but this Aether, you and I understand it on a more fundamental level. And
I have
yes,
Aether.
we both understand that. I know, and I have told you of the dangers of it. Such a substance is incredibly volatile and incredibly dangerous. You and I both recognize this, and so does Avaria, and hopefully so does most of this group. I hope my caution has not gone unheard. But this is the result. You see the servants of lessers treating this as some mere material to be played with, tossed around. This is the exact reason why I am so protective of it. It is the next generation of destruction. And nothing, maybe if I can, but nothing will stop that coming to be. Because the greed of people is unimaginable, and the desire for power evermore. And they will just keep using anything they can. Aether is only this first step to bring about more and more destruction for their gain. You know this, Holland, so do I.
I do not disagree with you.
I'm not saying anything you don't already know. I wasn't expecting to see such a refined version. But that is, you could put that in the hands of a simpleton, train them, and next minute you have an army, capable of wiping out any other, from any distance.
I concur. That is...
I wasn't paying attention last time, and I didn't see all of this. I would very much like to meet this trader.
Well, I'm right here.
I agree.
Name's Galius, and yours?
Kelric.
Oh, just Kelric then?
Well, I do kind of recognize you've been traveling around,
I have been here and there.
and you're wearing a monocle. I'm assuming the name Elsine means something to you.
I know the name.
It's responsible for your vision.
That it is. Wondrous man.
He is quite the man.
Haven't had the pleasure of meeting him myself, but his craftsmanship is the genius behind the idea of what helps this motions and adjusting his. So George, why
What?
don't you head back inside and have some with Kane?
So George showed us something very interesting.
Oh, did he?
What would you say about a trade?
Or what?
I want the gun.
5,000 gold pieces?
I have half pound of
A half pound of what?
glowing blue mushrooms. I have some Pemberley feathers. I have black Aether crystal.
I have none of
Well, I
what
mean-
you have there is any value to me.
Give
And
him
be
that
careful
and
with
I
that
fuck
thing
him 2 or 3
once the black
times
Aether-
and we'll be good.
Okay, throw that in there. You can have his manhood.
I've tasted it already
Sir.
and paid for it dearly.
Okay, so round 2, ding ding, let's go.
Sir, it would appear we
Unfortunately-
do not have the funds to purchase something of such craftsmanship. How Imprisonment, by the way, New Beginnings Corporation, my friends have spoken of you.
Oh, you are from NBC.
I am.
Ah, I have done business with them.
So you'll give us a discount now.
Well, I never said that.
And no attempt to use any sort of name to do so. Galius, if it is, you certainly have quite the method of transportation here.
Oh, it is a humble abode. Tophin seemed to enjoy it.
Just out of my own curiosities, may I ask how it works? Is it similar to the arcana that would be responsible for such objects as a bag of holding, but on a much larger scale, or is it a separate dimension?
It is a dimension of my own creation. One that I spent a very long time creating. I'm proud of it.
It's fairly exquisite spellcraft, if I must say so.
He kind of looks you up and down, and let's see. Notices your spell book.
He's looking for my gun too, ain't he?
I suspect you might be capable of such things one day.
Well, when you're amongst a bunch of friends and your only desire is for knowledge. That was my start. The end will be much grandiose.
Your desire was for knowledge. Mine was for to travel the worlds and make money doing it. So here I am. But either
Why
way,
not
still
both?
ended up here.
I just want to stab him.
Cress is gonna.
Is going to.
Divine sense.
Okay.
He's undead.
Do not sense anything.
Okay. You're a greedy man.
How am I a greedy man?
Hmm.
Last I checked, when we last met, I gave you guys quite a bit of free things.
We can give you Zeros for a night.
It doesn't look like my type. Little,
Yeah,
little
I'm
too,
gonna say I'm gonna have to pass.
he's a little too muscularly for me.
Is it a twink?
Squishy wizard.
Well, what he is he's an opportunist and a trader, and we've seen many like him where I come from.
I don't think all of this hostility is not quite the right word, but I think you all know what I mean. We should all be much calmer.
I don't like him.
I agree.
I don't like anyone of Arya.
You're all quite a bit tense, and this man seems to be making an honest living for himself.
He was okay with a man abusing his horses
I
and
never said I was
starving
okay
them.
with him
Shut
abusing his horses.
up.
I said a man is able to do with his own property what he wishes.
Do we want to fight again?
Do you want to lose again?
I didn't. He is okay with people abusing their horses, and it's not okay. So I'm ready to leave here because he's stupid. I'm gonna go get back on the cart.
Look through his woods. Cress is gonna start just like looking through everything.
Okay. Are you looking for something
Is there-
specific?
No, but I have a feeling you would know what would catch Cress's eye. Is there anything that?
I mean, besides health potions and maybe some fancy clothes.
Okay.
Not,
I guess I'll
not
buy
right
it.
out in the open.
Actually,
Huh?
Not right out in the open, at least.
Galius. I know I was
Yes, my
just being
dear.
mean to you, but do you have more stuff?
I mean, I have a whole cart full of sorts.
Can I look at in your cart?
No, it
In
seems
a
like a cart and
not
more.
token way.
And I'm not. I did there. I see there is no such thing as no kissing and telling, or however the kids between the two of us.
well,
He winks at Tophin.
I'll wink back.
If you guys would care to come inside and look, I could have George keep watch on your cart. I would have to insist that that contraption, I feel like the metal feet would scuff up my floors. Any motions it spun.
Well, me and Spud'll stay in the cart.
Sorry, sir. I must have, misheard you. I hope you weren't speaking illy of my
Oh no, he
companion.
is quite the feat. It's just the metal might scuff up my floors. If you'd like to carry him, he can enter.
That shouldn't be a problem, and Spud's gonna pop up on his wheels. And he's just gonna...
Hell yeah. Of course he got fucking wheels. Of course he has fucking wheels. Hell yeah. Fucking love it.
Well, I'll
That's
allow
just
it, but if he
R2D2.
causes damage, I'm going to be sending you a bit.
He will not hurt a fly.
Okay.
What about that reef?
So
If
he
he
takes
causes
out.
if he causes any damage to your floors, although I think I understand the incantation which led to that creation, you shouldn't be worried to begin with, but if you are, I'll fix it. It's fine. I completely forgot my accent, by the way. Rip.
The incantation was derived of sorts, but it is something of my own creation, so it might not be completely similar to what you know.
Yeah, well, if you ditch the important part of being able to create whatever you want, you made a big mistake.
Well, each his own. He pulls out the cane again, kind of like, basically just like falls out of his hand every time he pulls it out. He taps the door and it swings open, and you guys see into what this massive, grandiose banquet hall with the large, about 10-foot tall, clear glass windows and the violet, very vibrant purple curtains hanging from each side, and you can see intricate different paintings and tapestries all hanging from the walls. And coming inside, you can see the ceiling is like this giant mosaic painting, or almost mosaic ceiling tile. If you guys are entering, that is what you can see.
DM as a
Spud is gonna zoom in front of everyone else and show off his Egrium rims in whatever light is in this place.
Okay.
He's going to start his stuff.
Does wheelies. Couple of donuts.
No donuts. That would leave skid marks.
Is everyone entering?
Well, as a precursor, DM, from the very entrance here, what sort of Xenokarat, if any, inspirations can I see?
Make a perception check.
Boy. Geez. 15 plus. Where is it? 2, 17.
It's hard to tell from here, but on the far wall you do fetch catch something that appears to be a familiar sight of a large walled city with a tall tower coming up through the center of it on the far wall. This painting of this city, at least. And looking around throughout here, you can see paintings of various other cities lining the walls. You get the sense, maybe anywhere he's traveled, he has them painted to line his wall.
I know you are an accomplished trader. First part of my last name was Elsine. The second was Lyris, and I was Strident.
Well, I had to have someone of such cute with the abode. Basically, like, or bow you. Would anyone else care to join us?
I'll be right behind Kelric.
Maybe you run in. Said you're not
I
going
will
in?
be
Hell
behind
no.
them, I
I'm gonna be
guess.
on my cart.
Okay. What'd you say, Tophin?
I'll be the last one in.
Theros?
Follow.
So, as you guys all make your way in, Tophin following Nil not short after, as I described, you're within this massive banquet hall. Very almost gloss-like finish, shine of orange wood across the ground. You see this massive table laid out before you with these different sets of candles all throughout the center, all lit and burning. Although it seems as if the wax is not melting, you can see different plates of fruits and vegetables, basically various trays of meats and cheeses and all kinds of things get out. You can see these massive windows, towering 10-foot windows off to the side. Oh, look as if they're shining out. It's hard to see out them right now. Directly walking, bright sunlight pouring in through. These beautiful purple tapestry, or beautiful purple curtains kind of draped over each side. You can see these gorgeous tapestries of Arya. You see a familiar tapestry of...
I'm not there.
Oh, that's right, you did not go. Alright, never mind. Theros, Halan, and Kelric, now that you are in, you can see it a little bit clearer. You see the familiar tapestry of the massive city of Zakarat and the towering tower of Zakarat off into the distance, towering above it. And you can see this large city open. Now that you are a little more focused and actually looking around from the last time you were in, the familiar painting of the city of Lyarosa in all of its glorious wonder. You can see the silver shining houses, and you can see the different marbled archways of the palace. You can see the crystal clear waters of the lakes that surrounds the city, completely encompassing it. You guys just see these various different massive cities and beautifully painted. And across the ceiling, you guys can see this massive mosaic art piece of what appears to be symbols of all the different gods.
Hey, Galius,
Yes, my dear.
you're missing one.
I don't think so.
Cress,
No, I
did you
promise
say he's
you're
missing a
one.
god?
Let's count him out.
Yes.
Nope. The 7 noted gods of all the nations are there.
Cress is gonna pull out the rock that she had been chiseling into the symbol and proudly show it off.
Okay. Well, I don't know what that is, but God that I know of.
Well, there's 8 gods. I don't know her name, but there's another one. She's
Well,
out there.
In reality, there are more than the 7 that are recognized. These are those that are known to be more friendly to our kind.
This one's plenty friendly. She helps me kick ass and also helps me heal.
Say so, my dear. So, should we head to the storeroom?
That would be great.
Is there anything
Yeah,
in particular you
after
guys are
you-
looking for?
Oh. Go on. Sorry.
So have you ever seen like a really big glaive? Like a really, really big glaive?
I mean, how big are we talking? Because I've seen Goliaths with massive glaive.
Fucking big.
Oh, you've met a Goliath too.
I have met very many weary travelers. I once even met a satyr.
Satyr?
It's
I don't know what the fuck that is.
almost a
Galius, I would
handful.
consider myself a bit of a sadist myself, but I don't think you need to really say that you've...
Satyrs
Met?
are folk from the Feywild.
Yeah, they're of two planes.
Well,
Ah!
anyways, can you get out the glaive head? The head of the glaive?
Sure.
Like, reach in and pull out this massive head of this glaive that's like 4 feet long.
Yeah.
Or,
Does anyone
3
remember if I was
feet long,
there?
Sorry,
Was I there for that?
you were not.
You were not.
Tolfin, what is that?
A
That's
giant
just in your bag.
glaive blade.
You carry that around all the time.
We also have manacles in it.
Yeah.
What? Man,
I also have a Marius Warhammer.
is it a magical bag?
No.
No,
What?
no, just a normal bag.
Sure. That's great. Big bag of tricks. That's
Yes.
what that is.
Alan, it is a magical bag, and I acquired it from Galius here.
Oh,
As
The first
Oh.
time we
okay.
I'm glad to see it is getting put to good use. It was only collecting dust here.
Well, I am very thankful that we can put it to as much use as we do.
Anyways, we came across this like glaive head of a glaive.
I see
And-
that is massive.
Yeah, it is.
Is there any like recognition from Galius?
I mean, make an insight check.
Alrighty. Got these dice from a friend. Don't fail me now. Natural 20!
It's like
+4.
it's like a first.
That's a first in like a lot
It's
of
like
sessions for Cress, I
Lord.
feel. So with a 24, you can read that Galius. There's not a look of recognition, almost like a look of shock, but it doesn't seem as surprised as one as basically didn't give the same expression Halan did. The look of surprise is more of a look of like, how do you have this, more than like, well, I've never seen something big before.
Well, that just wouldn't be
Don't-
true.
Don't say that.
Hey, stop.
This
Just wait
party's
for
called
the
the Spread
dip.
Eagles. Don't say that.
Keep that in mind. Have you ever seen this before, Galius?
I've not seen this particular Aiden running his hand for it. Not this particular blade before. I have seen many glaives in my day. I even own a few if you were looking to buy.
Are you okay? Would you know how to fix this up perhaps? Get it on a stick? Make it so I can use it?
Cressida, would that even be wieldable?
Well, yes. The lady in the
do
statue
I
used it.
personally know how to fix it? No, but there are two places. One I think would be able to fix or craft such a thing. One, there is a famous blacksmith. His name escapes me. Within the capital of the Zartlas Empire, within Kulaxum. The other would be within the dwarven city of Vir Darel. Could definitely find someone there that could fix or craft this blade for you. Although, if I might make a suggestion, that is a hefty piece of metal. Could maybe perhaps ask them to melt it down to a new glaive.
Is that the only way I would be able to wield it? What if
I mean, I'm sure you and someone of your stature could wield it. I just worry about the negative effects of something so heavy might have on you.
nothing's gonna have negative effects on me? Have you seen me? I am peak physical condition.
Why, yes, you are, my dear. So,
Yeah, and none too humble.
should we head downstairs then?
Sure, I want to go see things.
So as he walks you guys across this this banquet hall to far end, you guys walk past all these tapestries. Pushes open the door, and you guys enter into a small hallway with jets off to one side to the left, one side to the right, and a small spiral staircase that kind of a few off in front of you. Looking down the hallway, you can see that each hallway is dimly lit with small little candles set up about every 5 feet. You can see different little paintings and pictures across each walls, and he's down the stairs, and he walks over and taps the stairs, and the staircase shifts and turns to the opposite side, and then a small little spiral downward staircase appears. By all means, please follow. Starts walking down. Assume everyone's following.
Yeah.
Waiting for someone to be like, I jet off down the hall. As you guys continue down this small spiral staircase, as the second that all of you get in there, you hear the movement of stone close behind you guys, and then you can feel as if, as you're walking, almost as if the stairs are turning in a downward direction with you. And not a moment later, you guys reach the bottom, where you enter into what appears to be a massive, fully functioning shop. You enter in and you can see these bookcases and shelves, just lined with, there's like a whole section of spell scrolls and books. There's a section of clothing and different knickknacks. There's a whole section of mechanical things and different metals, and you can see a whole wall that is just strewn apart with different weapons and shields and armor. And then on the far end, you can see there is a small door, and just next to it there is a small little crystal ball that is kind of like floating and just glowing in the air. Oh, welcome to my storeroom. Probably about anything you could search for, I have.
What's that ball?
Oh, that is my call it a security system.
Enough said. I'm gonna go look at your mechanical wares.
And we're gonna take our break there.
Oh,
Shopping episode, shopping episode, shopping episode.
Feels like every episode is a shopping episode at some point.
Alrighty,
It basically is.
We will be back here in the next few minutes.
Okay.
They can hear us. Keep that in mind.
I know, that's fine. Tyler, have you looked at the Discord in the past half an hour?
Deal.
I thought it was funny.
Dude, I've rolled so well with these dice my friend gave me for Christmas.
You probably just transferred the curse to them.
Alex, check your phone.
Check out.
just me? Does it seem like Wizards of the Coast is leaning fairly heavily onto a lot of the stuff they introduced into Descent into Avernus? I've seen a lot of like extra games. I mean, there's like Avernus Clue. The new, I think it's like a book of adventures. I haven't looked at exactly what it is, but I think it's like Mysteries at Candlekeep or something like that. I think it's going to be like an adventure compilation kind of book. I think they introduced Candlekeep to 5e in DIA, so that's kind of interesting.
I mean, it was probably their most well-received module of 5e, so
That's
I wouldn't
fair.
blame them for capitalizing on it.
Yeah,
That's because of this fucking baller.
I have enjoyed my time running that module. It's been like a year since I've been able to play with the group I played that module with, but I had a ton of fun with that, and hopefully I can get back to that, because we had just gotten to Avernus when we had stopped playing.
You know,
That's
Coraline.
about right where we were at.
What's that?
Cor is like Cressida's opposite.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. She's a tiefling of special descent, and she's pretty smart and pretty lax compared to Cressida.
He's also an alcoholic.
That, I mean, yeah, that's true. Coraline is an alcoholic. I didn't think that was necessarily essential to her character, but
No,
All
but
I'll say for the
Cressida.
success of Descent into Avernus is the other material, or the other planes of existence are wildly underexplored in pretty much
Different
all of
fate.
history. Pretty
Yeah,
much
that's fair.
all of D&D's history, the other planes of existence are just left to like the DM's straight up imagination, with only like large names like the City of Brass and whatnot being dropped. But like, there's no actual exploration. Like, if you're running, Forgotten Realms or whatever, like the whole world is laid out for you. So I think
Yeah.
people are just chomping at the bit to get something that isn't material plane.
yeah, that's fair.
And the desire to explore hell is pretty,
Yeah, and
Pretty enticing.
I think as a DM, I don't know how it is as a player, but I think it's very entertaining knowing that that's literally just the first layer of hell out of 9, and you're telling one very grandiose adventure, and you can think about everything else you could do on that one plane, let alone the other 8 that you have to travel through in sequential order to go to the next. If you were to choose to either change the module midway through and have to leave Avernus for anything, or if you wanted to go back into the Hells after that adventure, depending on how your game goes. I mean, there's a lot that you could dig into there, honestly.
Well, and the
Pretty hip.
story, I mean, obviously no DM has to be prescribed to the original genesis of the 9 Hells, but the story between fiends and devils and the betrayal of I'm forgetting, the name is escaping me, but there's like D&D lore for like, there was an agreement that basically the gods were tricked into that gave the people who run hell, like, they all agreed to it, and then they were like, haha, you didn't see this hidden clause. And I'm describing this extremely poorly right now because I can't remember any of the names or any of whatnot. I have to go back
I
and
mean,
look.
that sounds on brand for
All
Devils.
you had to say is Devils made a contract with a shit-ass clause in the middle of it.
Yeah,
And I
it
would've
was truly, if I recall correctly, the basic gist of basically if you're considering Forgotten Realms a party world, the separation of the 9 Hells is entirely like a big fuck you to the gods, so they basically got tricked.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
that's
I would
basically
have
the
to
whole
genuinely
plot
go
of
back and look at the
Avernus.
lore because I don't remember it. It's been a while since I've tried to dig into D&D lore and refresh myself. But we're back, so
we're just-
this idiot needs to stop talking.
No, you're good. I just brought us back so we can chat while we wait for
Oh.
everyone else to join, so I'm not staring at the map scroll.
Oh, I guess
But
we're
it's
reading
so
the text.
beautiful.
It-
Some
it-
idiot worked for hours on that.
I don't know about hours.
Man,
Like,
check
you threw that together
this
in like an
out.
hour.
We got a whole mini podcast going on right now
Yeah, I
during the
know.
break. Really getting bang for the audience's buck right now, which is nothing, I would assume, unless it's Aiden's
ever
dad
since.
sending bits.
I would like to point out Tophin also got bang for his buck last time we met Galius. So
That's true.
This session took like a major turn from what I had planned, but I'm liking it.
well, I wasn't expecting half our party to be hostile and try to fucking kill Galius.
I mean,
After all
it
this
is
time,
what
you really
it is
weren't?
sometimes.
You weren't after all this time.
I mean,
That's my first
fair.
assumption.
The
That's
hardest
my first-
solution is generally smashing things.
I really
I mean-
like that Cress gives like innocent suggestions. Okay, that one wasn't as innocent, but like usually
was gonna
pretty
say
innocent
innocent.
suggestions. And then Avaria just like takes them and goes,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Somehow I've ended up as the voice of reason, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, don't
I'm the youngest person in the party.
don't get me wrong. Halan is always in the mood for a good scheme. You know, he's not afraid to have his friend fake a heart attack in the middle of the street to get some guy's attention. But like, I don't know if we really need to like bring the warhammer out on some guy that Halan has just met, and you guys are all riled up. But Cress is like faking an accident in the middle of the street, and Avaria is like, smash this guy's fucking hat to his feet.
Oh, that's
good
pretty accurate.
Avaria impression.
Let's turn all these guys into Goombas.
All these guys into Galius. Oh man, guys.
Alright, can we go to the gazebo now?
You know, all you have to do is.
Dude,
leave
I
this
didn't think we
card
were gonna
set
make it
that
this
way.
session.
Well, this is like what, day 1 of travel? So
It's like day 0.25.
we'll see.
We got out of town.
Wait,
Yeah,
did we
you
already
guys
pass
basically-
through Old?
You guys basically, so it's about late afternoon. You guys got onto the Emperor's Byway after making your way up the road, and are basically just like turning the corner, and then Galius was coming down the road.
So we haven't even made it to Ole Field yet. Damn, okay. We're really bad at traveling for extended periods of time. This just happened whenever we were going to the mine. We got sidetracked by a whole freaking ender dragon coming and trying to kill us. Now we're here, getting stopped by the Monopoly Man and his little gremlin sidekick.
To be fair.
I don't
Got the
remember
fucking
who it was.
Pringle
an
guy
anime-
trying to
I
find
know my
was
inspiration for
fun.
Galius from an anime I was watching, and I can't remember what it was now for the life.
There's a Monopoly anime?
Yeah, exactly.
Yimba.
What'd you say, Josh?
Nothing. I was thinking of the
Nerd.
Netflix gambling anime.
Netflix.
Man, I'm gonna be honest. Galius feels like a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character.
Kakiguri, that's the name.
Like he's just
No,
over here
that's not-
stopping
that's not
time and
how-
shit.
It's a good
Not my
anime.
fault. The strong boy. Got tricks up his sleeve.
Tophin, would you vouch for that?
Can confirm.
Open. Does he have lots of
Up some other things too, but
Mm.
Oh, he's, as they say, got a backbone?
We're gonna get banned from Twitch.
No, we'll be fine.
oh,
Yeah, we're just chilling.
it's fine.
It's a good thing we're marked for mature. Put it
It's
that way.
fine. We haven't said the I word or the S word, so we're good.
Don't even know what you're referring to. But
What? Simp?
Oh, you don't?
God
Yeah,
damn
yeah. Alex gets it.
I knew what he was
You
referring
cannot
to.
use. You can't use those
Oh, I
words
know
in a
you can't.
derogatory meaning anymore.
Hey, I wasn't.
I know. I'm not even gonna take the chance though. They are now the S word and the I word.
Is it derogatory if you do it to yourself? Because
It's self-deprecating. I don't know if you could be self-derogatory.
So, since Avaria is not there,
It's
and
just
I can hear her getting
advanced
ready to come back
self-
down, we will jump back into the session. So, you guys have just entered into Galius's massive storeroom here. So, what's everybody looking to buy?
I'm gonna head to your machinations over there.
By all means, when was the last time I was in? It had to have been, over a year.
Oh, good.
But I'm sure their wares are much the same. There are different sorts of metals over there.
I'll mosey that direction with, oh god. Blaine Brank, Holland.
Yeah, so you find your way over there, and you find all different types of copper wire, steel wire, ACSR wire. You find all these different things of pieces of steel and bronze and all different sorts of variations of metal, pieces of metal, from tubing to sheeting to angle iron to all kinds of different.
He's got quite the selection here. I might actually stock up on some of this.
Yeah? What's your next project? What is it that you're looking to do?
So I guess I've been thinking about it for a little bit, and I know I was kind of talking about installing some sort of bow-esque contraption on my appendage, and I'm sitting here thinking right now, in this very moment, what if I put something on, like, some sort of rope or wire or cord, and essentially made, like, a mini harpoon with a rope on, like, installed inside, so that I can extend it. It could stick to something. I could use it to either, like, climb up something or bring something to me, or I could viciously attack something in front of me and then retract it, so I could just use it again.
Are you speaking of something that would be alongside the original mechanism described, or modular with it?
It would sort of be in place of that, so that I wouldn't have to worry about ammunition.
Well, it depends. If you're trying to fire a projectile at a surface that you want to be able to retract into, whether it be organic or otherwise, you'll need something that sticks and stays. Such ammunition wouldn't be effective against, well, we've mostly been fighting organics of a form. Because if it sticks and stays, you're very much not going to get it back. I think of a barbed arrow, perhaps.
Well, I want something that I can retract as well. Like, if I want to, with either physical force or some sort of contraption, bring it back.
Well, the only way you could
Almost as if a dagger tied to a rope, but
DM,
more
jump in if we're spitballing the wrong angle. The only way you could have ammunition that would both be able to pierce and stay and retract you, perhaps if you were trying to repel upward, but also be able to be drawn out of an opponent's, but have the opportunity to stay, would be if there's an actuator in the head of the ammunition that would basically give up the OGs. I can't think of the proper wording. The inability to remove it by force. Like I said, think of a barbed arrow. You would have a barbed arrow that would essentially close in around the singular shaft in order to be retractable. Yeah. Yeah. Unless you were going for a more modular setup where you have the choice between the two. If you want one ammunition that solves both. I don't know which one would be more complex to build. That would be up to some crazy person who tells us how long all this takes to build.
I suppose the mechanism itself would be more complicated than whatever projectile I'm shooting. I'm thinking along the lines of, think of a automated fishing pole, almost. or a wired cable that powers a cable car, something along those lines. But in, well, you know where, that I could fire and extend and retract at my own will on some sort of wire.
I think I mean, obviously I haven't had a whole bunch of time to work with you on your apparatus there. But I think the easiest solution would be the choice between two ammunitions and whether or not it's connected per se. But I mean, anything's possible, you know, under the sun. So I'm just spitballing based on what little time. You know, I apologize. I've been really focusing on this spell. I'm working fervently to get it done.
No, take your time. Take your time.
Well, I wish it would. Yeah, I wish I had figured it out, but I had to go to an external source and get a leg up.
It's fair.
I don't know. I guess I'll ask out of game DM weigh in. What? I mean, I guess you get the sense here, right?
Yeah, I mean, you guys could definitely buy the supplies you need here. I mean, I won't go through each and you're gonna need, but I mean, you could get the general idea that you're gonna need whatever barbed or harpoon type ammunition you're looking. Could essentially attach. You could get either some steel wire, or if you just want to go straight rope, hemp rope, depending on how sturdy you want this to be able to be retractable and be able to pull out of things. But essentially, you could get some steel wire. You could fashion one with a barbed end, one with a straight end, and then build some sort of mechanism with green aether that would give it a little bit of like burst of wind that could launch it through the air.
Yep.
How much?
The easiest would be a swappable projectile for sure.
How approximately how much would the parts cost?
Depends on how much foot of wire you want.
I would say probably about 20 feet.
20 feet of wire?
Steel might be a little grandiose. Maybe I can lend. It would take me some time, but it's possible I could take weaker materials and a little bit lighter of materials and weave them. It might provide more strength overall, and perhaps be cheaper in materials. I'm just spitballing here.
That is not a bad idea. We might be able to get a little bit more range.
It's one of the finer, more complicated crafts in Zakarat, weaving lesser metals into stronger bits, but it's something that's certainly achievable. I don't know what your timetable is. I'm just trying to help.
No timetable. Nothing but ideas.
So I'm just throwing that in there, DM.
You guys would want you want to go the cheaper materials and try and make them a little bit and try and weave them. No problem. 150 gold pieces to get about to be able to make 20 feet of it. Or if you want to go steel, I'm gonna call it like 250 gold pieces. And this is just the supplies to craft it. So depending on your tinkering rolls, let's call that the bare minimum. If that's with the assumption you pass every check.
That is fair.
I don't know. I mean, I lend my help where I can.
Of course, with two of you, it does decrease the DC when you guys work together, but nevertheless, there's still.
Regardless, those parts are a bit pricey. I am only at 140 gold in my pocket.
Well, I could help you sponsor this project. You know, I have one for Cress in the works. I think you've seen the mechanism I was toying with a while back.
Believe so.
I mean, I can help sponsor this project. The problem is the time, as always. When I'm done with this spell, I'm happy to either continue that project or this one of yours.
Well, let's see how much we can bargain the price down.
Yeah, of course, Sir Galius. If it's no trouble, we'll be potentially buying many things. So we'd like to discuss a bulk discount, perhaps. Help you levy out some of the wares who have been sitting around for a while.
I'm sure something could be worked out. I am a businessman, and besides that crazy elven woman, I do enjoy the lot of you.
Yeah.
Mr. Galius, do you perhaps trade the currency of knowledge?
I do enjoy knowledge. Most things in my life I already know, but there is a certain item within friend's pocket over there. She motions over at Cress. I'm interested in.
Nothing so expensive. Just something to shave off the a little bit of the cost of these parts that I'm looking for. Would you like to see what I'm interested in them for? Because I almost guarantee you haven't seen this.
Sure, wow me.
All right, and I'm going to take off my right glove and then take off my jacket, and I'm gonna flex my what the fuck is it called? My agrium arm, I think. My agrium appendage.
Did you remove the cloaking device for it because you're just looking like you're flexing it?
You know what? I'm gonna pop one of those and pop the orb out like that.
Okay. So as the orb pops out, and you like catch it with your extra appendage. The Galius' eyes kind of go wide, and wow, that is quite a marvelous feat of engineering you have there.
Oh, you think so?
Can't say I've ever seen someone with a metal arm.
Well, you can give your hats off to Mr. Stovrick on this one. I'm sure you've met him.
Oh, that man is a brilliant man. I had no doubt he was the one behind it.
Oh, of course. And you can see his mark right here, wherever that is. I don't know, but sure.
Right at the basically where the arm meets the.
So, what do you think, Mr. Galius? Do you think that's enough to knock a couple notches off the price of the parts I'm looking for?
Are you willing to trade it?
My arm?
Well, I don't see how else that could. It's a marvelous masterpiece of craftsmanship, but I mean, if you're simply just wanting a discount for me looking at it, I don't see what out of this.
I can't trade it to you, but I could give you a bit of a tour of it. I could let you understand how it works just a little bit. Even I don't understand it.
I don't know anything about crafting. I simply sell the things for people like you. For good measure, as a first-time customer, I could give you a small discount, but looking it over doesn't really do much for me.
I suppose that's fair.
Having
Well,
probably at this point spent a fairly decent amount of time around Holland and a reasonable rapport between the two of us. I know he doesn't know me and I don't really know him. I would like to catch his glance and kind of glare at him in the same manner as when I'm talking about Aether and the dangers of it. If that's possible. If either between you and him you reason that's possible.
I would say it is.
That's all.
well, Mr. Galius, if there's no discount for showing off something so stupendous, I guess I'll take the first buyer's discount, of course. I am a businessman, after all. Kind of, maybe not so much unlike yourself.
Well, it's one businessman to the other, then you understand there's always money to be made.
Of course. So, how much for the parts?
I will give you the parts, let's say, enough to make a second for 140 gold pieces. Assuming the rest of your lot hopefully buys something.
So I get a 10 gold discount if someone else buys some. Or am I misunderstanding you?
10 gold discount, but double the material.
Double two. Ooh, okay.
That is almost guaranteed at this point, in my opinion, Galius. I intend to buy something. Whether or not I have the coin for it, obviously, we'll see.
Hmm.
You have a great spread of items here.
I do appreciate the compliment.
Yeah, I will take you up on that offer. That's a good deal. That is a good deal, sir.
Cressida, do you see anything that catches your eye? Perhaps make a trade?
Cut that out. I'm going to look around. Particularly at the heavy armors.
Oh.
You're perusing through and do come across a few various items. But you do find a few different sets of some very nice polished armor. Some have some like there's one that kind of catches your eyes. It has like these golden accents around the trim and very well polished and almost leans as the light hits it.
Oh, Galius, come here.
Yes, my dear.
Tell me about this armor.
iPads. So this breastplate here is known as a strider's plate, and once per day you can almost plate becomes lighter, let's say, and you move quicker. So once per long rest, you can use plate to double your movement speed.
Not interested. Well, how much would it cost?
It is about 150 gold pieces, but for you, my dear, I would do about 125.
I'll consider it. Before I decide, though, do you have anything that would mayhaps make me quieter? I don't know if you've noticed, but I kind of, and she like picks up her leg and wiggles it a bit, and her armor goes.
I have come across things in such travels, but they're a hot commodity. They do sell very quickly. I currently do not have one. I do know where I could find one. I could purchase it next time I'm passing through and have it for you next time we meet.
When would that be?
Sure, our paths will cross.
Kind of weird. I hope you're not stalking Tofin.
Fine. No, I would not do so.
So, you'll keep an eye out for that item for me.
I will.
Gosh, does anyone know how much gold Cress has? I know it's above 200.
Do I need to check your character sheet or something? Like,
She doesn't. I don't have it on her
It's
character
on
sheet.
Nil's character sheet,
It
isn't it?
won't be on
oh,
her
for
character
crying out
sheet.
fucking loud.
Someone just look at Nil's character sheet. And
Ugh, hang on.
I don't know. Over half.
I'll
of it.
I'll try to suss out what's going on here.
I don't even know if it's on his character sheet though. It might be in his notes.
I don't know. Hang on. He's got 69 gold to his fucking name according to D&D Beyond, so it ain't there. It ain't his fucking extras. His equipment, he scrolled down. No, it isn't his fucking notes. Features and traits, extra note. He has it nowhere. I don't know where it is.
69 gold.
Well,
I mean, I guess
yeah.
that's
Chris, I will
Nice,
remind you that you did
nice. He's
spend,
got
like,
69 gold.
You did send
Nice.
you did send gold off in a letter, and you did spend a lot of gold that one day at the market.
Well-
you were paying like every person
No,
like
no, no,
10
no.
gold.
I started out with like 250. I spent 60, and then I remember spending 60, and then because I have that in my notes at least.
You would have made
And then
the
I've
new beginning
already-
money.
DM, real quick. Important point of note that I can't see because you are the DM of the campaign. I cannot see. I don't know if it doesn't exist, and that's why I can't see it. But I cannot see if he has any other possessions, which is a manually editable field at the bottom of his
I
equipment. tab.
guarantee you he didn't put it in there if he does
So
have it.
so either it is there, and it's notated nowhere else I can
I
see
think he
because
would've
I
wrote
can't
it
see.
Well,
Like
let's
I can't see.
just-
I can't see his description or his notes. I can only
Well-
see equipment features and extras, or
We'll just be
features
more
and traits and
diligent
extras.
about our gold tracking going forward, but we'll say Cress has like 150 gold pieces.
Well, wait, because I want to figure this out. How much did we get from the new beginning core? Because I had like two.
I have 204 and I haven't spent any. If that helps.
Yeah, I started with like 200, and then I got a bit of gold, and then Avaria gave me back 30 after I spent the 60. Like, she slipped it in my pocket. I remember that. Did we get any money from the new beginning core?
Yeah.
How much?
Off the top of my head,
No
that's for
fucking
you
clue.
guys to track.
I put it straight into my D&D Beyond because I told everyone how much.
Yeah, that would probably be like an after session
Damn it.
fucking
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Let's just
finances
call it 150
class.
gold pieces for Tyler.
Okay.
That's what you get for every character that can't fucking count.
Cress will buy the stupid thing, stupid armor.
I'll add it into your inventory.
Wait, will that real quick?
No,
Will that edit my
it's
armor?
available on D&D Beyond.
It is,
Oh,
but it
that's-
is,
no,
but it's
but it's
listed under
leather,
light
yeah.
armor, so it needs.
Yeah, it's leather. You're right.
Okay. That's all I wanted.
I'm trying to keep things a bit short, Galius. Would you have anything that would interest someone of arcane pursuits like me, and or I'm specifically also looking for a fairly simple incantation. I believe it's commonly referred to as sending, but it's more of a divination school.
Oh, I know of it.
Yeah.
As far as arcane pursuits, I mean, I have a library.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming you wouldn't let me browse freely. My
Well-
means are not much.
Depends on what kind of relationship we develop. But as far as the sending scroll, he'll take his little his cane that you've seen with very often, point directly over at the bookshelf that is filled with scrolls. Pick up that one there and points directly to one that is sitting kind of like in the middle of the stack. As you walk over and you pick it up and pull out the one he's pointing at, find the sending scroll. With everything you guys are purchasing, it's to part ways with it for pieces.
Oh, okay. We'll keep it in mind. I'm a bit light on coin.
Kelric, how much do you have?
125
Hmm?
gold pieces and some change.
How much did he want for it? This
I
is
believe
an
the
Alex
number was
asking the DM.
I believe the number was 300.
Are you guys asking for your total out of everyone, or just for the scroll?
Oh, no, for the sending scroll, I know without the discount, perhaps was going to be 300. Yeah.
300 is with a disc.
Okay. So my answer to you, Tofin, I have 125 gold pieces and some change in silver and copper, but it ain't much. But this is not something you have to do for me.
I will gladly do it if it's something you want.
Yes, I do want it, but I don't want to seem singular because I'm slaving hard on something that I hope will give this extra leverage if we ever need it. It's not just a purchase. I mean, you saw Avaria capable of doing it, and what I'm working on, depending on scenarios and whether or not I could even do it, could give me the capability to get what. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop.
Enough said.
I
Cressida?
Yeah, I do have a personal reason, but I hope it's more than just me.
You have 3 gold I could borrow.
Sure.
Thank you. Here we go. Kelric, with your 125, I've got 175. So 300.
Are you certain?
Absolutely.
So as you guys are
Wow.
continue to back you guys purchase in a second. Zeros, as you are wandering aimlessly through the shop, I suppose, is there anything specific you were looking for?
I don't know. Is there any glaives?
Okay, so as you start perusing through, you find a small little side room as you walk into it, and you find the room lined with different weapons, glaives, longsword, bows, different types of what appear to be arrows, and all kinds of things just balls. And there is one glaive that catches your eye. It's masterfully built with a wooden handle and a silver, or a string of silver that kind of goes around it, and on each end there is a blade. One end being a double-sided glaive, if you will.
Okay. I'm gonna go ask how much that is.
Right. So you bringing it up with you?
Yeah.
So as you start bringing it up with you, as you're looking it over, you notice in the silver, it almost looks like rope that has been dyed silver, but you're looking it over and it has these small little blue crystals all throughout it as you're carrying it. You bring it up to Galius. Oh, you taken a liking to that then? This weapon is known as Ice Spike. It is a double-sided glaive in which, when you strike, essentially it's a double-sided glaive, and when you strike, it deals the normal glaive damage, as well as your butt deals your normal glaive damage when you second attack because of full arm master, and it does an extra d8 of cold damage on hit. So it would do your normal glaive damage plus your d8 of cold damage. That on both your first attack and your butt.
Okay.
That's not gonna get broken.
And how much how much does it cost?
We're looking at like 250 gold pieces.
Oof. So I've only got 200.
And talk him down or throw it in with everyone else's for and try and get the discount.
So how about 200 gold in this gem of brightness?
Oh. Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Since I don't think I've used this thing once.
Haven't.
Okay, 14.
14. He takes the gem out of your hands. We'll call it even. Trades you so. 200 gold in the gem of brightness.
DM, a quick clarification. Did we buy? Did what Tophin give me? most graciously, was that the essence of the spell sending or a scroll of spending? Or sending,
It
sorry.
is essentially the ability to be able to copy it down. So it's
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can theoretically add it to my known spells.
Yes.
Okay, and it doesn't look like this weapon exists.
It does not yet, Josh. I have not had time to create it. It is in my
Want
notes.
to double check.
Yeah, it was in my notes to create for you, but it has been at. So yeah, that is the spell for you to copy into your notes, but it will still cost you the ink and paper to finish out.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know if it was going to cost me the materials as well. Bastardo. It's okay. It's okay.
So,
Is
I feel
what
like
it
at
is,
this
baby.
point, with as much as we're buying, the material should be thrown in.
ask.
Well, if it's no trouble, I would kind of wonder if perhaps I could just take the time to inscribe the shorthand here. With your help and
Yes.
supervision,
If that is what you'd like.
I would, yes, please, most certainly.
Persuasion check.
This is for all the marbles. +1, baby. Here we go. That one is picking it up.
Flashing.
16 plus 1, 17.
It was 15.
Oh. Oh. Oh, God, it would be
I suppose that
expansive.
would be acceptable.
I mean, if you're willing, yeah. I can. I don't have much. I'm sure
And-
most of your travels have seen what I've seen, but I mean, I could share
I'll
a
let you
thing or
in
two.
on a little secret. And I'll walk you over to his bookshelf where you see his books, and he'll take his cane, and on the end of it, he'll stick it into a small little hole slot in between the two bookcases. And as he does, and he twists it, the bookcases fall apart. And you see a room on the other side that is kind of lined with another set of bookcases. But on each front and face of these bookcases, there are sets of bars where they are locked off, and in the center there is almost a hollow blue well. It's like this overpouring blue smoke over each side. Try copying your spell down here.
You care to explain the magnificence of what I'm looking at?
Let's just say time moves a little more quickly within this localized area.
Oh,
Not the realm of time, but the ability for you to create things. Let's put it this way. Have you heard of the spell haste?
well, yeah. I mean,
So,
I've seen it in
This
scripture. Yeah.
mist is essentially the essence of haste.
How deployable is something like this, or is it localized?
It could not be moved. Let's put that. If I tried to move it, it might disturb the careful balance of the man who had installed it. Well, let's just leave it put.
Is
I know
Cress
I'm-
here?
You're throughout the shop. If I assume you were still kind of perusing throughout the shop. If you'd like to try and hear this, you can make a perception.
Yeah, I'm trying to perceive that.
I know that I'm pressing what is already generous favor. Can I ask who installed it?
That information itself.
16.
Understood. You're allowed to your secrets.
16. I'd say you could catch bits and pieces and basically hear the gist of what they're saying.
Cress is gonna come over and put one hand on Kelric's shoulder and one hand on Galius's shoulder. Who installed what?
It is
What?
an arcane artifact of sorts.
Huh? Can I see this?
I call it the Fountain of Haste.
What is it?
Notebook. Need my notebook.
Simply step in and find out.
Sure.
I promise you no harm.
Cress steps in.
Okay, so as you step in and this like blue mist washes over you, you feel your body massively invigorated, almost as if you could move twice as fast and take an extra action and all other bullshit.
I step back out.
So as you step back out, you can feel the effects start to quickly fade from you, and then you feel groggy and low. Not to the point to where it would slow your movement speed, but you do feel the effect, basically the negative effects of haste. You're not going to be stunned, but you feel groggy.
Well, I'm tired of shopping.
The fountain does come at a little bit of a cost, but when you're
What,
in
it
a bit of a
makes you
hurry,
tired?
it can definitely save you quite a bit of time.
Yeah, I recognize the general build. I just wasn't sure what the genesis of the effect is. But you're allowed to your secrets, obviously. I'm sure, given all that I've seen between Zakarat and all beyond, you have many wares. You've traveled far. I'm sure you have allies here and there.
I do have some various people who are good friends of mine.
Well, no doubt you've picked up on my accent.
Oh, I
I'm a
have.
man of Zakarat, so
The name more
Perhaps
gave
my-
it away than the accent, but
yes, perhaps the name as well. You are entitled to your trade secrets.
for all of we. Kind of like almost motioning at your side.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and I will stride in and begin furiously inscribing
You
this spell.
guys all look over and to see like Kelric in massive speed copying down the spell.
I would like to, DM, if you allow, put my extreme effort into this spell to transcribe it even further, if that's a thing.
Sure, let's go for it.
Whatever that
Field
would entail for
shoot
you.
5 come.
The-
Mr. Galius.
It's an hour per level of spell, right? Or 2 hours per level spell.
I believe it's 2 hours per level of the spell.
So
I would have to look it up.
the effects of the haste, the fountain of haste, 3. If you trying to do it quicker, we'll reduce it to 1.
Okay.
Mr. Galius.
If as soon as I walk in, DM, I begin to twist cyan and purple out of my hand and use a portent of 19, what could I possibly reduce it by?
30 minutes.
That is what I would like to do.
Enough.
So this
Yes, ma'am.
thing, this fountain, makes you fast. What if you were super tired and you went and stood in the fountain and slept in the fountain? Would it cut your sleeping time in half?
You know, that's a good question. I've never tried. Perhaps I'll try it tonight.
Interesting. The more you know. Well, I'm done. I'm gonna go check on Avaria.
I will have George show you the way out as your friends finish up.
And with the sticky-fingered goblin around, Cressa's gonna keep her hand on the cube the whole time.
Why does a goblin have to be sticky fingered?
I was gonna say, I think that might be racist.
I think it's because it's a goblin. I think it's because George kind of seems like a little shit steak.
It's a little minion. Nothing better than a little dude to...
Gives me big Furby energy.
Okay. Is there anything else you guys would like to do or shop for or buy? I know you guys are looking a little low on gold before exiting.
There is one
I
thing.
have 0 gold, so I'm good.
There's one thing I would like, Mr. Galius.
Yes.
I want the gun. What do you want for it?
I don't think you can afford it.
What do you want for it?
5,000 gold pieces.
Do you have anything that you would like instead of 5,000 gold pieces? As someone who is as high up in New Beginnings as I am, I could probably get you anything that you have your mind on.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Because you are from your home, you would recognize that my price is a little high, as you could buy something like this for 3,500 within the city of Bekarat, but seeing such an item, being probably the only one within the Empire currently, it is a, well, one of a kind throughout this land. So that raises my price a little bit, and if I'm going to sell it here, I'm going to make sure I get my money's worth.
Do you want a boat?
I think you
I
can
give you
tell-
both.
I think you can tell I travel a little bit more lavishly than needing.
Are you saying that the boat that I would provide you would not be lavish, sir?
Saying I have no need for it.
Well, what do you need besides currency, then?
Look for items to sell, items to buy.
Is coin your only consideration when it comes to a client for that item?
I could trade it for knowledge, or if someone offered me some monetary value that would be worth my
Do
coin.
you understand that weapon?
Oh, I know what it is. This is why
No.
I will not budge on my price.
Mm-mm. I was speaking.
I'm
about
not
the
budging on
mechanisms.
price. I want to know what would be equivalent to that in your eyes. What would be equivalent to 5,000 gold for Mr. Galius?
Noob your friend has.
Interesting.
I wasn't speaking as to whether or not you understood what it is, but how it works. Do you understand the mechanisms of that item?
I am not not a crafty man. So, not say that I understand how it works. I understand what it does and how it does it, but not. If you're asking if I could create one myself, the answer is
I will just draw back the left side of my coat, revealing Harbinger's Call.
I've been eyeing.
Does the understanding of it mean anything to you as a trader of more than just items? You could be a trader of knowledge and information.
I have no need to understand how it works. I'm not going to produce them myself. If I wanted to do that, I could just go to Lazarin and purchase the information myself, I'm sure.
Could purchase it cheaper here. Yeah?
But I have no need for it.
Do you...
I mean no offense, my friend, but you do not seem to understand the future is bought not from big individuals.
I understand.
When you
what
could
the-
acquire such an idea far cheaper from an individual.
But what would I do with that?
Invest that idea into the future. Could you not?
What?
You know how this item works?
From
Easily, a man of your means could find such a production facility and begin what exactly the person who knows how to build this is going to do. They're going to find a means of production and make this the next killer of the world. The next controller.
This
the
item is
world.
already under mass production. So, me making a
Yeah.
knockoff of it, who's going to take the knockoff over that of the Master Tinkerer?
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps the opposition. There's two sides to every war. Would you not sell to the other side.
Myself, I
A
don't
smart
partake
trader
in-
like yourself would play to both sides, wouldn't they?
I don't partake in.
Well, you don't stand to make much money, but I agree with your principles.
I make plenty of money. Living the way I have.
That's okay. Sorry for butting in, Halan. I was just trying to...
No, you're fine. That is reassuring. If your interest is not war, may I ask if you have any stake in Aether, perchance? Do you?
Sell it. I have a section where you can buy some, although it is only in small quantities.
I was hoping you'd say that. How would you feel about having significantly more Aether at your disposal at any given moment?
Well, here's the thing. I like to travel with all my wares at any given time, and I would not like to travel with too much of such a volatile substance in my home. I keep what I need on hand to have my wares stocked at all times for small amounts for such things that people might be interested in. But not to the point to where if I hit a bump on the road, my whole house behind me is going to explode.
Might want to tell your servant to treat your wares with a bit more carefulness.
George is as light as a feather.
Yes, and tossing around entire chests full of Aether product.
Well, the gun is not loaded.
That's not...
No,
how Aether
but there's
works. You know
always-
that.
There's always white Aether in there. Don't play coy, Galius.
I don't know how such things work.
He's your subordinate, not mine. Have fun.
Galius, if you're not interested in Aether or seacraft, then what would you be interested in?
I stated the only thing you guys have of my... And from what I
Cress?
can tell, your red-haired friend starting with it. I mean no
Cress.
bad.
I left.
Cress went out.
Oh. Okay.
I mean no ill will towards her. I don't know the depths of its possibilities or what exactly it is, but it is an ancient item. And
Well,
for me, I could turn that around for a hefty profit.
yeah, well, you must understand, perhaps unlike you, we have jumped from pennies to riches. The capability to do things we haven't imagined in the span of weeks, months. I know I have. I'll admit
You guys
that much
are
right
all
here.
looking quite a bit stronger.
But
I'd say.
you, my friend, have probably built your capabilities over the course of years.
Say that. It has been a while.
And so, caution, having seen what we have seen, you must understand, I stand with my ally on this. There is no cause to allow something like that to fall into, again, no offense is meant, but a trader who would give it up for the highest coin.
That is your decisions to make. As I told your friend with the horses, a man's property is for him to decide what to do. Or woman,
Yeah,
in this
well.
matter.
This is a woman's property, and one that I've seen granted to her rather than acquired by random means. It is hers and hers alone.
Then it is hers to decide what she do with. Like to sell
I
it.
agree.
Here, if she would like to do it, then I will not try and
I
force
just-
her to sell it.
Just hope you understand that. But don't dangle it over us as a moment of bartering.
You are offering me a ship when I want no ship. I stated what I wanted.
I will go speak to Cressida. And I'm going to do, I guess, a very light bow and then head out to speak to her.
By now, Cress, you would have made your way back outside the car behind Nil and Avaria sleeping in the east of Aria.
I am cooing to my elk.
Okay.
In Celestial.
I would follow Halan out.
If it's a matter of point of RP, stay.
Just enough to finish your spell.
No, I would. Well, okay, yeah. I guess this has all been happening. Sorry, have I been talking while
like-
I've technically been copying a spell?
Yes.
But I'm in the presence of Galius.
Yes.
Okay, so I would stay in the presence of Galius. If it matters. That's it.
So, Theros, you're making your way back out as well?
Yep.
So everyone else has made their way back out. Kelric, is there anything you would like to do as you finish your spell?
If Galius has nothing to say, I would just generally, like, shoo him in for moments of advice, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah, he doesn't really have much else to say besides thanking you guys for your business.
Well, sorry. Thinking about it for a quick moment. I would ask him, when was the last time you visited Zakarat? And have you gotten news?
As news in what sense? I mean, I haven't been in probably over a year. I actually bought a gun you guys are so interested in. Bought this Aether Boomstick from another trader when I was in the city of Queldin.
And if I ask how long ago that was?
Oh. Actually, the week before I came to Sartlas Empire, I bought it not long before I met you guys within Jin Run when we first ran into each other.
Yeah, and how did that trade go? Profitable for you? Or,
Paid about for it. So I got a bit of a deal.
was he, was this individual transferring, I'm sorry, I know I'm digging. Was he transferring volumes and you just bought one, or, was
It
it
was
a
the only
singular
one
device?
in his possession. Another fellow
okay.
trader.
Good, well, thanks for sharing. I know you didn't have to tell me this.
I will tell you, if you're looking to be unique, these are a scarce commodity, but they're growing.
No, I'm afraid you've misread me. Uniqueness is not my concern. I built this because at one time I needed it. And
Hopefully
didn't have what I didn't have what I have now.
hopefully it
I
suffices your
was
needs.
scared and the construction was hasty. But
Well, nevertheless, compared to what I have, it's well, maybe not as polished and pretty looking. It is still look at least to be, and roughly very close to the original design. I'm surprised you were able to craft such a thing, and I commend you on that. So I look forward to maybe hearing your name a little more in the future on future endeavors.
well, Elsene Lyris is all I have to fall back on anymore.
The name it is. Shall we meet with your friends?
Yeah, sorry. I'm finished with the transcription. My apologies.
Oh, no apologies whatsoever. As he leads you back up through the trial staircase and back out through the grand banquet room. Takes you back out to the front. You find your friends all around the cart here.
Before they get out, I'd like to speak to Cress with I guess the couple moments
Before everyone else
before
arrives.
Galius. Yeah. Cress, may I have a moment?
Sure, I was just talking to my elk Gherkin. He's a very, very good boy.
Sure, I believe that. The box. How important is it?
It's incredibly important.
Is it more important than what was inside?
I believe. Here. I know I haven't known you very long. But you see.
No, you haven't.
Why don't you have an arm?
That's a very good question, Cressida. What are you willing to trade for that information?
Well, it seems you have lost something, and I'm not going to assume how or why. But I have lost something as well, and it was because of what this box do. And I'm not willing to let this fall into the wrong hands.
I understand that, and I agree with you. That is why I am so concerned about retrieving this boomstick. I would hate to be traveling along one day and find ourselves at the end of the barrel. And he wants that bot.
I think what this box could do is worse than what that barrel could do.
Are you sure? I haven't spent a lot of time with it, but it seems all it's done is novelty effects for everyone.
Imagine those novelty effects are done day in and day out. Think of the toll that would have on a body.
I suppose that would get relatively exhausting.
Imagine this ability is used on someone enough. What do you think that having your time manipulated around you does? Because I mean, I'm made of tougher stuff than you, human half elf boy. And
Doesn't look like you're made of agrium to me. But
aside from your arm,
if I had to suppose, I would imagine that if time-altering effects were used on your body for extended periods of time, you would probably age accordingly. Assuming it's not like the magic in Galius's study with his haste fountain.
of course. Now imagine that's used on many people. Imagine how many lives can be ruined through this magic. You see, I have a friend who doesn't have long to live because this magic was used on her. And I don't want to see it happen to anyone else. It's my fault she's like this.
I understand. I do. It seems that our conflicting issues intersect strangely.
You have that's a big word, Cress wouldn't use that. You have a group. You have some imaginary group in your mind that would, or person or thing that would use this weapon. I know who would use this cube. I know who would seek this cube out and use it.
You do?
I do.
Well, wouldn't that make it easier to get it back?
I would not like to cross paths with this group again.
Do you feel it an inevitability?
No.
is there anything that I could do to convince you to relinquish this cube? Because at least you know where this magic will be going to, however nefarious. Anybody could get a hold of that boomstick and recreate it on a mass scale. And I'm all one. I'm in for good business, but that's not good business. That's blood money.
From what I've heard, keep in mind the normal person I don't believe would be able to afford it if we can't afford it, because we're pretty abnormal and we can't afford it.
The normal person is not who I'm worried about. It's any abnormal individuals we have not run across in this empire.
I'm sorry, Halan. I can't.
And there is nothing I can do to convince you otherwise.
No, get off my laptop. Get off my laptop. No.
Cress got killed by the mighty cat.
Hey, get off. Get off. Hey.
DM, I have an idea. I might be pushing my one of my abilities, but I will ask before I present it.
Thank you.
Go to my actions.
What ability?
DM, could I
Why
potentially,
can't I hear him?
with my magical tinkering, make a fake cube?
Let your magical
Not
tinkering only
something
creates a
that-
tool. Right?
No. My magical tinkering imbues a tiny non-magical object with a magical property of your choice. And then
Right,
that's a
so
couple.
you're trying to craft a cube? Is that what you're getting at?
Well, I guess I would need a cube at first. But my idea is to make something that looks like the cube and interacts similarly to the cube, but has very faux mimics of what it actually does.
With enough time and resources, could try and craft a fake version. It would take you, would need to have it, I mean, one, you would have to craft it mechanically and carve the symbols in. You would have to craft it to be able to turn much like it does, be able to form the different patterns. You need to then have it enchanted with the properties in which you guys have seen. It would definitely be a lengthy project, an expensive one, but you could do it. I mean, obviously, any of those pieces can be taken out, and you a lesser version of the cube if you're for a cheap knockoff to trick someone. I was just trying to give you the overall picture.
Yeah, I gotcha. That's That's definitely not what I was envisioning, so I'm gonna call that a no. No, you're fine. You're fine. I know I was stretching what I was proposing there.
It's definitely something you could attempt, but it's gonna be an.
Well, Cress, I suppose I can't bargain anything else. Then I have nothing I can bargain with your morals with.
Sorry, pretty boy.
You have to get sarcastic with it. Excuse me?
What did you say?
What did you say? I was speaking loud and clear. Don't mock me.
No, I got nothing.
Oh, well.
While you guys are having this conversation, you guys notice Galius is packed up and he's getting ready to leave. I need to get off. I am heading to the capital. There is a market that I need to visit. Stock some wares, since I have just made some sales, and perhaps make some trading of my own. Bid you guys a good day.
To you as well, Mr. Galius, but I heed warn you. If we start running into weapons of war on our travels, and it comes back to you, we will be having a stern conversation.
You guys have more weapons of war than I do. I have a simple gun. Look at your arm.
This is not a weapon of war.
Maybe not in
This
your
arm.
eyes.
Well, you already said that you don't deal in warfare, so we shouldn't have anything to worry about.
Not here, and we're not in a time of war, so that's something I need to worry about.
But you must realize many people are fighting to keep peace. War is on the brink at all times, and a select few are fighting for the peace. They fight every day to keep it and maintain it. And when it falls, you will find yourself on one edge or another. I only ask of you, Galius, that weapon you carry is intensely dangerous and intensely influential, and I know you're a man who only stands to make money.
I've
And
seen
I
it
know
tested, what it can do.
no hold over you. None. But I would ask of you, we are going to see each other again. Of that I have no doubt. This universe is recursory. It keeps coming back to the same few people. When I see you again, I hope you haven't sold that weapon to someone. And if you have indeed, I hope you haven't sold it to the wrong people. You must. I know you don't know me that well, but you need to understand the catalyst it will cause. The reproducibility of something so volatile, so dangerous, given the stretch of aether across the land, is immense.
It is. Being in rich nations, it would be a bad thing to be reproduced. From news that I've heard, is it not that Matt of Zakrat, who has just moved into this area to begin mining aether? Stop to think why.
Oh no, I understand why. And if you're nothing more than a money man, then feel free to join in with the crowd and sell that weapon to the highest bidder against their opponents. I'm sure that you will find some. I've seen your wares. They numer continents. You'll find an opposer. And when you do, they will pay a premium for that weapon.
Right? The right buyer would pay a premium, although I do bet some of my buyers I don't sell to just like your crazy elf lady over there.
Yeah, well, just remember that your sale will contribute to the deaths of thousands.
One man's opinion.
If you can't see that, see his money.
I'll be on my way then. Hope you all have safe travels.
Yeah. Good day.
Tip his hat. Starts riding off down. Right
Tophin,
before-
you slept with that guy?
Right before he
What
gets,
a
right before he
dick!
gets out of shouting distance. Tophin, do look me up in the capital if you make your way there.
Sure. Sounds wonderful.
It could really be taken two ways.
And to think,
Yeah,
I
it can.
almost liked that guy.
Well, he's He's part of the problem, but also part of the system. He stands to make money, and that's his own. That's what he does. You know, he trades commodities. He's come into a commodity he doesn't understand, and no matter how much explaining you do to someone like him, the danger of the commodity that he's come to doesn't matter to him. He stands to make money. When or if, well, if war breaks out, because I promise you, a choice few people are fighting for it every day. We don't see that. When war breaks out, he will sell to the opposing force, and it will cause, well, it will cause the war to go on, and it will cause more deaths. They will be the highest bidder for that technology.
Oh, where did we get this glaive again?
We got it from the, correct me if I'm wrong, DM, but the portal of the Corrupted One when we fought the... Was it an avatar, the Corrupted One? Yeah, I think it wasn't like it wasn't actually him, of course, but it was like it was more than just the Corrupted Sisters, it was an avatar, the Corrupted One. And in a side room was this glaive.
Okay. So I talked to him about this glaive, you know, because I want to like get it fixed up, and I'm a pretty like I like to look at people, and he definitely knew something about it. Why would this is why he didn't want to give him the cube. Why would he, of all people, know something about this cube that was in the bad guy's lair? Glaive.
Wait, are you asking why did he want to buy the glaive, or?
No, I did not give him the cube, because why would a man like him know of this glaive that we found in the Corrupted One's, like, lab?
Cress, I will remind you that his look was not one of why do you have this, it's more of like a shock. Because maybe you can it how you want.
Well,
Oh,
DM, I do... Sorry, go on, Cress.
I definitely took it as, like,
Yeah, I just didn't want to paint the wrong picture there from what I gave you before.
No, I definitely wrote down in my notes, like, I have it in quotations, so I could, because I, like, wanted to have it exactly how you said it. Yeah, Galius, quote-unquote, seems to wonder how I acquired the glaive. Like, as if, and I took that as him, like, knowing what it is.
Okay. Yeah,
Well, what I like to ask DM is there, based on any whatever, like, is there any precedence for gods and or goddesses weapons to be left in the material plane and being commonly acknowledged as oversized? Is this a thing that, like, maybe not a glaive for every god or goddess, but like we would find an oversized sword? Is that something like in myth and legend and common storytelling that a child would hear, or something that I would have read?
Throughout children's stories and stories of different gods and goddesses, you know of there being mention of course, there's mention of ancient and weapons that are artifacts. I mean, there's no, I would say there's no really given detail of size or anything like that. Maybe more general description.
But like unwieldable weapons by a mere mortal. If you know what I mean.
Yes. So there are definitely stories of such.
Like of unwieldable weapons by mortal form.
Yes.
Whether, like, and obviously I'm stretching this, and I'm not trying to dig for you to give me confirmation, but whether it be by size or requirement or some other factor.
Yes.
Like the gods and goddesses have their weapons, and they are unwieldable by mortals. Because of some reason. Okay.
I'm just gonna. That's all I'm gonna.
No,
say.
I'm not trying to dig,
No,
for like
fine,
a definite answer. I'm not trying
not to give too much. So.
Yeah, don't give me the goose. I'm just saying. So I forget where we were in the individual conversation, but Kelric will explain that. there are certain elements that are not wieldable by mortals, at least through conventional means.
Well,
Yeah.
if this is a weapon of like a god, then I'm gonna feel really bad because he told me I should melt it down and make it smaller.
Well, that's... Is that not one of the means by which a mortal could wield it? And this is what we're talking about here. If anything is true, that is a goddess's weapon, right? It was a female god, right? DM,
Is
sorry.
a
Well, my
female.
ancestors.
It was a female winged woman. There was no.
Oh,
No one. I mean, you guys insinuate it and take however you want, but there was no given information whether it was a god or a goddess.
okay, understood. Sorry.
Something.
To continue. Well, that was a goddess's weapon. It was not meant for you to wield. So, melting it down to smaller form might be one of the solutions. They won't. There's no way, and I don't. You'll have to forgive me. I'm extrapolating here, and yes, I know I'm talking far out of my element. I mess with reality. I don't prescribe to gods, but they won't allow the changing of such an artifact unless you are chosen.
Well, I'm gonna try anyways.
I know. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying go with the confidence that if you belong to have done such a thing, you will meet no resistance.
Well, that was my little like thing that I noticed, but I'm ready to get on the road.
Yeah, we've got a whole nother 6 days ahead of us, or more.
Roughly 5.
Roughly 5.
That should be plenty of time to get this mod installed.
It should be plenty of time to finish my spell.
Fucking with you, by the way.
So, as you guys continue off for the rest of the day down the road, very quiet rest of the day. You don't pass by many people or anything else. You guys find, I assume you're stopping somewhere.
Yeah, and I will take time, of course, to put up the dome, assuming I have the time before we're assaulted by night animals.
Yes.
Actually,
Yep, go ahead.
wait, wrong spell. Ugh. With my mighty steed.
Yep.
Because he is a yeah, he is a celestial.
Yes.
He doesn't need to sleep, right? Okay.
Although
And
he does
can-
have a time limit on him.
No. Just until he I've got it pulled up.
I think we talked about this last time.
Yeah, you may be right, but go ahead.
I'll have him guard. He'll just like keep watch for us. Because he can telepathy wake me up if he sees anything weird.
Yeah, you could certainly try that.
He has a passive perception of 10.
Tyler, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of zoned out for a second. What did you just have your elk do? Is he like watching our perimeter?
Yeah.
Okay,
Lord elk.
nice.
Oh, okay, yeah, it does not have a time limit on it. Takes you 10 minutes to summon it.
He's just there infinitely.
I definitely
Until
thought
he dies.
that had like a 1 day time limit on it. It did at dawn.
Nope.
Okay, yeah,
Hurricane's here.
So, it appears to be like familiar. So
yeah, you can very
It's
well
here till he
make it
dies.
have your elk keep watch for you guys.
well, that's that's very generous, Kathida, but I'm going to keep watch anyway. It's part of my I don't know. I just feel more comfortable that way.
He can keep watch with you.
Yeah.
He can't speak, but he can understand Celestial.
Oh, good.
What are you doing?
Speaking of Gert, oh gosh.
I know. There's like 5 cats on this fucking stream. It's
So is anyone else going to be staying up tonight, or is everybody doing well?
I am keeping
I'll
a
stay up.
watch.
I mean, Spud'll stay up. Why
I'll
not?
take a watch.
Theros, Tophin, either of you staying up?
I'm
Of course,
sleeping.
Tophin is.
Nope.
Oh, gonna sleep?
I'm not gonna take a watch. I can't guarantee I'll sleep, but
Theros, were you doing anything? Sorry.
I'm just sleeping.
Okay. So who's taking that first one?
Oh, I'll jump into the first watch. Whoever wants to join me can.
Spud will watch all night since he doesn't need to sleep or anything.
I think since
I'll
only,
take first watch with you, Kelric.
I was gonna say, since there's only 3 of us, I think we're all gonna take our own watches.
Guessing Divi.
Yeah, we're protected within a dome, so it could be theoretically a 3-person first watch if you wanted. Like, Kelwick would explain, nothing can theoretically get in here. Like, if that's what you want to do.
I assume the you colored it to the landscape.
Well, yeah, of course, sorry.
Good, I just want to.
Yeah. Yeah, I will always, unless specified, tailor
try
it to...
camouflage.
Yeah, tailor it to the surrounding
So,
color palette.
as you guys kind of settle down and everyone else kind of settles in, starts to relax for the night, I need each of you to make.
Yeah.
Sure.
14 plus, I think the 1, is it? No, it's the 2. 16. Wait, did I read that wrong?
15.
No, it is 2, 16.
12.
So as
Hey, why did the music change?
say 16, right?
I did say 16, yeah. It's 14
Alan?
plus 2.
15.
Okay, so as the two of you are kind of sitting there and staring off at the sunset, as it dwindles down behind the peaks of the Antinui right here, hear almost like the crash of thunder coming from off behind you, and followed by the beating of large wings.
Fuck!
And not long after, the large, ominous, ear-shattering roar. The same roar which you guys had heard from the day before. As this massive shadow kind of darts through the twilight sky. And you watch as that same dragon with the Dark Rider goes drifting and darting off into the distance towards the air, or towards the direction of the Naku Circle. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Fuck you, Matt. Fuck you.
Not my circle!
You fucking piece of shit.
it's okay. They probably drew their anti-dragon circle. They're fine as long as they stay inside.
You piece of garbage.
Oh.
We shouldn't see their circle.
Fuck you, man. That
Not
is.
my circle. At least my
Wow.
backstory character isn't there.
Yeah, Gherkin. Yeah,
That's what
Gherkin.
you think.
Yeah, Gherkin.
That you know
What
of.
are you doing?
I've been gone for a while. So, that's how we're going to end tonight's session, guys. I look forward to next week's session. It'll
What
be
a
fun one.
fucking mic drop.
But anyways, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. For those of you that catch us on the VOD, because I know a lot more people seem to watch on the VOD than we do live, which is cool. I love that you guys support us. So thanks for checking us out and tuning in. That's all for tonight. You guys all have a good
You fucking guy.